into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, South Africa, and wherever you may be watching from. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on SABC3. So good to hang out with you on this Tuesday. Put it there,
And it's
Zoe.
not just any Tuesday.
No.
It is Workers' Day. So if you're enjoying the day off in bed, yeah, we're jealous of you.
Absolutely. And we hashtag choose to feel absolutely amazing on this day. It's going to be a great
That's
one,
right,
guys. Thank you for
that's right.
choosing to start your day with us.
That's right. Well, listen, since it is Workers' Day, we'll take a look at the significance of this day throughout the show.
Absolutely. And then we're also going to be focusing on, I think, probably one of the coolest offices around, the Google headquarters in Johannesburg. And that's, of course, next to our cool office right here that we
a
have
cool
in this
office
NC
space.
Point.
That's right. And then, of course, we also have Marvel comic book artist Declan Shalvey with us this morning. I mean, the work that you can just imagine. We're going to be profiling some cool offices and we'll be looking at some cool work. So he's doing some amazing things.
Absolutely. And then you might remember our music group as a trio. It's called Women for Women. They are here now. They did that cover of Beyonce's To the Left, right? And it went absolutely viral. To the left, to the left. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. But they are here. They're going to be dropping some great music on your Feel Good Tuesday morning. So make sure you do not go anywhere.
That's right. Well, on that note, let's check out your morning headlines with Leanne.
In the national news this morning, the Congress of South African Trade Unions, COSATU, says the national minimum wage is an achievement worth celebrating, as it will lift many out of poverty. But the delay in parliamentary processes, which has led to the postponement of the enactment date, is impacting negatively on workers. COSATU says it will use today, Workers' Day, to address issues around the national minimum wage and radical economic transformation. Gauteng Provincial Secretary Dumisani Dakile says from today, COSATU will begin to engage in fighting for a living wage. The South African Road Passenger Bargaining Council says efforts to resolve the bus drivers' strike will continue after the long weekend. Talks between employers and unions broke down again last week. An intervention by the Commission for Conciliation, Mediation and Arbitration and the government yielded no settlement either, forcing commuters to continue making alternative arrangements as the long weekend wraps up. At least 16,000 bus drivers have downed tools, demanding a 12% increase. They have now given an ultimatum to accept the revised offer of 8% by tomorrow. Now moving further abroad, at least 25 people have died after two suicide blasts ripped through the Afghan capital Kabul yesterday. The dead include AFP news agency chief photographer Shah Marai and 9 other journalists. The first attack happened around 8 a.m. local time when it was rush hour. Some 15 to 20 minutes later, when aid had reached the scene to help the injured and journalists were there to cover the first attack, another attacker amongst the group of journalists detonated himself. The Islamic State group has claimed responsibility. And then finally, US President Donald Trump welcomed Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari to the White House yesterday. Their talks are expected to focus on promoting economic growth and reforms, fighting terrorism and other threats to peace and security, and building on Nigeria's role as a democratic leader in the region. According to a statement from White House spokesperson Sarah Sanders, Buhari, a 75-year-old former military ruler who took office in 2015, has announced that he will seek a second term of office in elections next year. Well, that was your 6 o'clock news update. Let's get a look at what's happening in the world of sport. Here's Ewan.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Yes, let's quickly get into your sporting action. In search of an unprecedented third consecutive European Cup title, Real Madrid take a 2-1 aggregate lead into the second leg of the UEFA Champions League semi-final, and that's against Bayern Munich at the Bernabeu tonight at 8:45. Action-packed indeed. Now, setting aside Barcelona's La Liga title win and a few injury woes with Isco now also in doubt, coach Zinedine Zidane believes an all-out attacking mindset is key. Then Jurgen Klopp will have a similar approach tomorrow evening, allowing Roma back into the last week's dominant 5-2 first leg win, and also more recently the loss of his key assistant Zeljko Buvac as Liverpool head to the Stadio Olimpico for the second leg of their semi-final. And then football, English Premiership. Yes, in the Premiership, the focus shifts to securing a Champions League spot for next season, with Manchester United having achieved just that with an impressive 2-1 win over Arsenal in their send-off to Wenger over the weekend. Tottenham took a big step towards edging out Chelsea last night, with Dele Alli and Harry Kane finding the back of the net against Watford. The Blues have a bigger mountain to climb at the end of the week, entertaining Liverpool on Sunday. And then in cricket news, really starting to provide some fireworks and compelling rivalries. The IPL is in full swing this week. Yesterday, Watson and Dhoni fired the Chennai Super Kings to a win over the Delhi Daredevils and to the top of the log as well. Today, AB de Villiers will be in action for the Royal Challengers Bangalore as they take on the Mumbai Indians, certainly delivering on his form for the Proteas. He's currently fourth on the runs on his list with 280 runs at an average of 56, equaling Chris Gale on 23 sixes in his 6 innings so far. As we relieve your sport news, we'll keep you updated throughout the course of your morning.
A first look at what to expect in your weather today, and it seems like temperatures remain moderate across the country, with a couple of scattered showers expected over the northeastern region. But looking at those temperatures, we start off from Polokwane. 11 is your minimum, 24 your maximum. Mbombela 14, 24. Partly cloudy conditions and rain expected in Pretoria. 11, 22. Johannesburg 10 with a maximum of 20. Mahikeng 10, 23. Klerksdorp 10, 23. Kimberley 12 with a high of 24. Partly cloudy conditions in Bloemfontein. 7's your minimum, 21 your maximum. Richards Bay 17 reaching a high of 25. Pietermaritzburg 12, 25. Durban 19, 25. Mthatha 10 reaching a high of 27. Sunny conditions in East London 18, 28. Cradock 11, 28. Sunny conditions in Port Elizabeth 17 with a high of 27. George 14, 28, Sutherland 10, 24. Sunny conditions expected in Cape Town, a low of 14, a high of 23. Partly cloudy conditions in Worcester, 10's your minimum, 30 your maximum. Springbok 8 with a high of 30, and Uppington 16 with a hot day of 30 degrees Celsius expected. That's where we leave your weather for now. We'll have more for you in half an hour.
Thank you very much, Zoe. Right now, though, we live in a world that is constantly changing. We know it. Life is just getting faster and faster and faster by the day. So as we welcome today, can you believe it? The 1st of May,
Wow.
Leanne. Yes. Let's quickly take a look at what happened on this day in history. Can't believe we're starting a new month.
On this day in 1981, tennis player Billie Jean King, famous for her 39 Grand Slam titles and the iconic Battle of the Sexes match against Bobby Riggs, which she won. Of course, she's also confirmed a relationship with Marilyn Barnett, becoming the first prominent sportswoman to come out. And today she lives happily with her partner, former tennis player from South Africa, Ilana Close. So, yeah, very, very nice.
Very cool. And then how's this one? One of my favorites as well. In 1978, Jackie Chan's breakthrough film Snake in the Eagle's Shadow, directed by Ying Wu Ping, was released in Hong Kong, launching a career that would span decades. Now today, Jackie Chan is one of the most recognizable and influential cinematic personalities in the world. And I'm yet to see that movie. I haven't seen it.
Very, very
But
cool.
he's brilliant. Look at that.
Definitely. And then in 1952, Mr. Potato Head was first introduced. Now, the character was a toy developed by George Lerner and was the first toy advertised on television and has remained in production since its debut. And of course, Mr. Potato Head is best known for its appearance in
The
Toy
Toy
Story
Story
franchise.
Mr. Potato Head
Mr.
and Mrs.
Potato Head.
Potato Head.
Aw.
They're such a cute couple.
Very cute. They belong together.
Absolutely. Well, that's our bite-sized dose of this day in history. Go out there and make your Tuesday awesome.
Well, it's the 1st of May, which also means it is Workers' Day. We're going to take a look at Google's head offices, the coolest office space around. And then, of course, we'll also be doing a little bit of gaming since it's Gaming Tuesday, this time reviewing the game Far Cry 5. So go fill up your coffee cups. We'll see you after the break.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Well, it's Workers' Day, everybody. Time for us to go to social media. And our very first question is, which type of office personality are you? Are you the gossip girl or gossip guy? Are you the passionate luncher? Are you the punctual wizard? Or maybe you are the admin slayer? Let's see what you had to say. Mark says, the gossip guy makes life interesting. Patsy says, good morning, everyone. I'm punctual. Vincent says, happy Workers' Day. He is the passionate luncher. And then Danae says, good morning. I'm a preschool teacher, so punctuality, kindness, and peacefulness is key. It's pretty phenomenal because I'm honored and privileged to spend time with the future leaders of the world. Hashtag blessed. And then Ursh Feb says, good morning, Expresso. I can't explain myself. Just crazy about my work. Maybe I'm the passionate luncher. I love the passionate luncher as well. Well, that's all we have for social media this morning. We'll catch up again with what's trending online. But now to head over to gaming. In its 11th entry and its 5th main title in the Far Cry series, Far Cry 5 promises to bring action and adventure. Please do note that this game is advised for players not younger than 18.
All right, well, our gaming guy, Gareth Woods, back on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's all things gaming right now, and it's time to get lost in the wilds of Montana in Ubisoft's brand new spanking game, Far Cry 5. Dude, lucky to have you, man.
Yeah, always good to be here.
Yeah, I know that you're excited, man. You're a big Far Cry fan, man. And,
I've played a lot of this game, and so I can show you pretty much anything, and I've decided to jump in here, a little airdrop into our first spot. I'm going to go fishing, show you some of the world.
Okay.
This will show you how big this place is. So there I am, and if I zoom out, you can see there's a whole lot of Montana to explore.
Whilst you find your spot, man, so Ubisoft, they've not really kind of redefined the wheel here with Far Cry 5, but I mean, what makes this one different? What makes this one really appealing to returning fans?
So I mean, the Far Cry franchise has always been this thing of taking you to these, far off destinations. So you've been in Polynesian islands, you've been in Thailand, you've been in Africa, you've even gone to India, and I believe at one stage they did a kind of prehistoric one.
Wow.
Where you went back to being a caveman and kind of hunting mammoth and all that sort of stuff. And in this one, what they've done is they've taken you to, like you said, Montana, and this sort of doomsday prepping kind of cults taken over the town. As probably you would see in America at the moment. With guys like stashing weapons and doing all sorts of stuff, getting ready for this kind of like end war.
All right, so obviously this game really shines because of the open world and the fact that you're able to explore. So what are some of the mechanics that you particularly love about this game?
So I think what's always key with an open world is it's that fine line. Have I got it? No, too close. It's that fine line between padding. Like a lot of open worlds, they kind of go. There's no real story driving it. They kind of just throw you into this. Once again, horrible cast. They throw you into this open world and go, yeah, you make the fun. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. This is one of them that does work because there's enough of a narrative and some urgency going on. But at the same time, there's also, you can kind of do what you want. Like right now, I've got my missions and all that, but I feel like fishing and hopefully I can, we got one.
You got it.
We're going to fight him a little bit.
My word.
We've got to fight against it. Like you've got a very good rod, so we're playing a little bit. Come on, here we go. There we go. What did we catch?
Did you get him?
I did.
Yes, man.
It's 3.6 pounder. I don't know if that's going to break any records, but certainly. Yeah. Oh, we got a bear here.
So what happens now? In the event of you seeing a bear? I mean,
I can either run, or I could fight it, or I could just let it do its thing. You can, for example, I don't know if I've got any bait available, so I can throw out some bait. I don't know if throwing in the water will help.
No, I doubt it, man.
Throw it over here. Let's see if that attacks him, or he's more interested in.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, Far Cry 5, I mean, it's down the line already. You better run, dude. That thing is coming for you. There's been a lot of thought put into this game, a lot of development as well. Looking to the future, man, is there anything that you feel that they can improve on, maybe change going forward, or is this near perfect for you?
Yeah, what I loved about this game, we've got a skunk here. He's marking his territory, better get away. So what I loved about this game is, like I said, the open world is fun enough that, half the time you're not even doing a mission, you're just running around exploring stuff. And they reward that. There are all sorts of Easter eggs as you're playing the game, little hidden things, memes. They make fun of themselves sometimes. The one scene, without kind of any spoilers, you meet this film director, and he's actually making the film Far Cry.
Yeah.
And so it's all about, like, he's using all these stories that you would have known from the previous games in Thailand and all that, but it's kind of self-referential, and it kind of like breaks that fourth wall, as they say, where the characters almost know they're in a game.
All right, there we have it. Well, Gareth, as long as you give us a thumbs up, we are happy. And of course, you can always let us know, what do you think about Far Cry? If you're a fan of the Far Cry franchise, let us know on our social media feeds, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3 on Facebook. Always use that hashtag Expresso Show.
Now, we spend most of our time at the office, so it is only fair to enjoy your surroundings. This week, we take in an office which sets the benchmark for the coolest place you could possibly hope to work in. It's the Joburg HQ of a company whose name is synonymous with finding exactly what you're looking for.
Many of us spend a lot of time in our offices from Monday to Friday, and there's no doubt that having a cool, comfortable, friendly working environment increases productivity, and the Google SA offices are no exception to this. In fact, these offices take cool to a whole new level.
The thinking here is that this is such a stimulating space that even in your downtime, it's where you'd prefer to be. Overseeing communications and relationships with the public, Google South Africa's Mitch Atanga gets the value of what the space says about the company.
Now, Mish, I must admit, from the outside, this looks like any other ordinary office block, but that's not the case. I realized that when I stepped in here. But what is it about Google that makes working here so pleasurable?
Well, I think, aside from being an incredible company that does really amazing things, I get to work with a lot of really amazing and diverse people, so a lot of different ideas from around the world, and that's really, really amazing. So I love that. That's one of my favorite things about working at Google.
And this area in itself looks very attractive. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so this is our reception area. So when people come into the office, this is the first impression of Google that they get, and this is the waiting area, so before whoever you're meeting comes to fetch you. And one of the things I think I quite love about it, aside from the fact that you can see what South Africans are searching for right there on the screen right now, but the wall itself is made of magazines, and all those magazines are South African titles.
So, Mish, what makes this office space so unique to Google?
So aside from the fact that it's a green space, which means it's energy efficient, so our lights turn off when people are not around, and the air cons are efficient managed, and that's really important to Google. But more importantly, it's also a tribute to the city of Johannesburg. I call it a love letter to Jersey, right? So look here, you've got this big graffiti Google sign, which is painted by a real-life graffiti artist, and you've got the map pin that is exactly where we are right now. So if you put that in Google Maps, it'll bring you to this location. But when you go into the office, you'll see it looks at the iconic buildings, their street names on the side, and the meeting rooms are named after very interesting South Africanism. So for sure, Exe, Braji, so those kind of things. It's a real storytelling of Johannesburg and South Africa and the South African culture, but for international folk, it's a way for them to learn about the country and take more than just meetings and, you know, their jobs away with them, but also a piece of South Africa with them.
Local pride is a big emphasis, and Daniel Acton is all for his hometown.
Dan, how you doing, man?
How's it, man?
I'm very good.
Take a seat.
All right. I must admit, these are very interesting chairs, and I hear that there's a story behind them and this particular section of the building, actually. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Cool, yeah. So, I mean, we created this building and this wonderful, interesting design about 2 years ago when we moved in. And, you know, Google has this idea that we should exist in the city we're in. You know, we should put roots and we should really invoke the city we're in. So this, you know, this is supposed to be gold bars. They're not really gold bars. They're just painted like that. And the things we're sitting in, these seats, are supposed to be the mine carts that people would carry about. So, you know, we've named this as this pause area Igoli, you know, City of Gold, so that, you know, it refers back to Johannesburg. We have a lot of international visitors that come to our offices from other offices around the world, and it's a story we like to tell. That's our history. That's how Joburg started.
Luke McKent has a personal connection to this space.
Luke, the Book Nook is one of your favorite spaces in the building. Tell me why.
Well, books have always been a big part of my life. Despite the fact that I work for a technology company, I actually prefer the feel of a book compared to, you know, even a Kindle or anything more electronic. In fact, we spend so much time in front of a screen. I way prefer reading real physical pages. And in fact, when I was growing up, one of my favorite treats when we were living in Fischhoek was for my mother to drive me to Cape Town and to go and visit the second-hand bookshops that all populated along Long Street. Now there's lots of restaurants, all of those bookshops have unfortunately evaporated. So it's fantastic to have something in the office here that kind of reminds me of all of those youthful days browsing those bookshops.
Surroundings set the tone for a meeting of minds. Kerry Prisman knows that better than most.
Meeting rooms at Google are quite a commodity, and it becomes incredibly competitive when you're trying to book an urgent meeting. So Google really thought about this and created these cubicles that allow you to have that last-minute meeting or that urgent call with your client.
Choice and the chance to experience something new. That's the feel of this Delhi meets coffee shop meets designer bistro. But for Asha Patel, it is something unexpected which takes the cake.
For any mom that is returning to work, it's quite a daunting task getting back to the office. And that's made easier by this particular room, the mother's room that we're in right now. This room is fully equipped. It comes with everything that you could possibly need, from the feeding chair, the fridge, the equipment. And as you can see, each of these toys are quite unique and quite representative of the staff complement that work here.
What I really like a lot about this building is how they put a lot of effort in making sure that I feel included. And it feels very diverse, and it also feels very inclusive. And that's very important to me.
What a great place to hang out. That you get to work here too seems a bonus.
Offices are definitely not what they used to be before. Gone are the days of boring boardrooms and dull office furniture. As you've seen from the building behind me, it's all about creating a stimulating, inspiring working environment.
All right, almost as cool as our Feel Good Breakfast Show offers right here. Very, very cool indeed. We're going to be taking a very quick break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we run you through the significance of this public holiday. It's, of course, Workers' Day, the 1st of May. And then we're also going to delve into your tech news a little bit later on, where Bill Gates announced a $12 million contest. What on earth could that be all about? We'll tell you after the break.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. You're tuned into your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on SABC3. Thank you for choosing to start your Tuesday with us. It's the 1st of the month. Zoe, can you believe it?
I can't.
But I know. This year is flying by, absolutely flying by. But With the recent Easter weekend and also Freedom Day public holidays just gone by, it may be a little confusing to keep up with why you may be enjoying the luxury of staying at home again today. Well, today is, of course, like I've mentioned, the 1st of May, known as Workers' Day, or what some may refer to as May Day as well. And we are about to unpack the significance of Workers' Day in South Africa.
That's right. Well, many people who work and enjoy a 9-hour work day that includes a mandated 1-hour lunch break, they can thank the efforts of laborers who've been protesting to fight for these rights. I mean, the modern working class came from the Industrial Revolution, where people were constantly on strikes. And I'm talking about everyone, men, women, and children. They were fighting for a 10-hour labor day. And it's scary that they began fighting for that as early as 1810 in England, but it was only granted to women and children in 1847, and that was a 10-hour work day.
So there's a lot of momentum behind this day, that's for sure. Now, the movement for the 8-hour workday had already begun in earnest during this time, and it gained momentum in the US and also in Canada, with the first notable 1st of May convention being held in 1884 by trade unions in those countries, and also spreading over to France for demonstrations held on the 1st of May in 1890. And then this saw this day become an annual event, with May Day being celebrated for the first time in Russia, Brazil, and Ireland in 1891.
And adding to that, the Chinese, they added their own celebrations in 1920, followed by India in 1927. And May Day was gaining a lot of international momentum as International Workers' Day. Ironically, it lost steam in the US where it originated, and that's because of the holiday's association with communism. So in South Africa, May Day has been celebrated since 1980s, but it was only after our first democratic elections in 1994 that it was coined as and recognized as an official holiday as Workers' Day on the 1st of May.
All right. Well, there we have it, a little bit of a roundup on Workers' Day and what it all means on the 1st of May, May Day as it's known. But we really do hope that those of who are in kind of the labor force, enjoying the rights demanded by various movements and demonstrations the world over. Let's take the time off today, reflect on those who have sacrificed to ensure that we are afforded the basic rights in our respective workplaces as well. So go out there, have a nice day off, but also think about the significance of Workers' Day.
In the national news this morning, the Congress of South African Trade Unions says the national minimum wage is an achievement worth celebrating, as it will lift many out of poverty. But the delay in parliamentary processes, which has led to a postponement of the enactment date, is impacting negatively on workers. The South African Road Passenger Bargaining Council says efforts to resolve the bus drivers' strike will continue after the long weekend, and talks between employers and unions broke down again last week. Now moving further abroad, at least 25 people have died after 2 suicide blasts ripped through the Afghan capital Kabul yesterday. The dead include AFP news agency chief photographer Shah Marai and 9 other journalists. And then finally, US President Donald Trump welcomed Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari to the White House yesterday. Well, that was a quick update on what's happening in your Express headline news. Let's take a look at what's happening in the sport.
Thank you so much, Leanne. Let's run you through those sporting headlines very quickly. In search of an unprecedented 3rd consecutive European Cup title, Real Madrid take a 2-1 aggregate lead into the second leg of the UEFA Champions League semi-final, and that's against Bayern Munich at the Werner tonight at 8:45. And then with Manchester United having achieved just that with an impressive 2-1 win over Arsenal in their send-off to Wenger over the weekend, Tottenham took a big step towards edging out Chelsea last night, winning a 2-0 with Dele Alli and Harry Kane finding the back of the net against Watford. And finally, really starting to provide some fireworks and compelling rivalries, the IPL is in full swing this week. Yesterday, Watson and Dhoni fired the Chennai Super Kings to a win over the Delhi Daredevils and to the top of the log by 13 runs. Today, AB de Villiers will be in action for the Royal Challengers Bangalore as they take on the Mumbai Indians at 4:30 this afternoon. That's a quick roundup of your sport. We'll have a full bulletin for you at the top of the hour.
Well, Well, let's look at your traffic. In fact, just a quick petrol price update. Motorists can expect to pay record high prices at the pumps from Wednesday as a softer rand combined with rising oil prices continue to push petrol prices up in 2018. Now, a litre of 93 petrol currently trading at 14 Rand 23 a litre will go up to 14 Rand 72, and that's surpassing the record of 14 Rand and 49 cents in December last year. So make sure you fill up this evening and we'll bring you another update in half an hour.
Look around. Life is beautiful. The Hyundai Tucson.
Well, let's take a look at your weather. And it seems like temperatures will remain moderate across the country and scattered showers expected over the northeastern region. But looking at those temperatures, we start off in Polokwane. You can expect a minimum of 11 with a maximum of 24. Partly cloudy conditions in Mbombela, 14 with a high of 24. Pretoria, 11, 22. Johannesburg, 10 with a maximum of 20. Mahikeng, 10, reaching a high of 23. Some rain expected in Klerksdorp, 10's your minimum, 23 your maximum. Kimberley, 12 with a high of 24. Bloemfontein, 7, 21. Richards Bay, 17, 25. Pietermaritzburg, 12 with a high of 25. Durban, 19, 25. Mthatha, 10, reaching a high of 27. East London, 18 with a high of 27. Sunny conditions in Cradock, 11's your minimum, 28 your maximum. Port Elizabeth, 17, reaching a high of 27. George, 14, 28. Sutherland, 10, 24. Cape Town, 14, reaching a high of 23. Partly cloudy conditions in Worcester, 10's your minimum, 30 your maximum. Springbok, 8 with a maximum of 30. And Uppington, 16, reaching a high of 30 degrees Celsius. And that's where we leave your weather for now.
All right, thank you very much, Zoe. We can definitely feel that chilly winter temperature setting in.
Winter is here.
Winter is here. Winter has finally arrived. Yes. Anyways, let's quickly take a look at what's happening in the world of tech, and we've got two rather interesting stories for you.
That's right. Now, we've covered Elon Musk's company, SpaceX, quite extensively this year, but there is another player in the game, and they are making some big waves. Now, Jeff Bezos, who is the CEO of Amazon, has a space company called Blue Origin, and this past weekend, they took one step closer to sending a man into space with their most successful test flight yet. Now, it's called the New Shepard 2.0, and the capsule had a dummy crew member on board, affectionately known as Mannequin Skywalker, and reached an altitude of 107 kilometers before returning successfully down to Earth and then settling safely on a landing pad. Now, 10 minutes and 19 seconds later, it's not the first time that they successfully tested the rocket, but it is the highest they've ever gone and the first time they've reached their operational altitude. Blue Origin hopes to send the first man into space before the end of 2018, or at least their first man into space.
That is fascinating. And that rocket as well, it looks different, it looks futuristic, man.
So Elon better watch out.
Elon, you
People are
gotta
catching
move,
up.
dude. Listen, bring it a little bit closer to home right now. Bill Gates has become one of the world's most prolific philanthropist and has taken a huge interest in medical technology. Now, this past week, he announced a $12 million contest to find a universal flu vaccination. Now, speaking at a Massachusetts Medical Society panel event, Gates said that we still have a long way to go in the fight against viral epidemics, but we need to pick up the pace. And for this reason, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has launched the Universal Influenza Vaccine Development Grand Challenge. Now, the challenge will award up to $2 million in funding over 2 years to the most promising proposals for a universal flu vaccine, all right?
Nice.
And then the ones that demonstrate the most promising proof of concept can then apply for a full award of $10 million to fund additional studies. But the race is on because they wanted to be ready for clinical trials within the 3 years from now. And Bill Gates has been, of course, very vocal about his concern over mass outbreaks and also stated that the world needs to prepare for pandemics the way that the military prepare for war. So he's getting in there. He's making sure it's happening.
Putting some massive dollars behind that. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
I love Bill and Melinda Gates doing such good work. Well, that's our tech roundup for today. We'll do it again next week, same time, same place.
Well, we are taking a very quick break. When we get back, it is a public holiday, so perhaps you want to make the kids a yummy snack. How does penguin bananas sound? And then, of course, we also have the ladies from Woman to Woman in studio. We're going to get to know them a little bit better before they perform, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you after the break.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. I hope you've filled up those coffee cups as we get into our local entertainment news.
Well, very, very good news. 22-year-old electronic music producer that was born in Castle, Guernsey, is going to be the second act that organizes of the big local music festival that is rocking the daisies, has been announced. This is none other than Muramasa. Now, this was announced on their Twitter account on Monday afternoon, closely after announcing that rapper Gold Link would also be playing at the festival. Now, Rocking the Daisies 2018 will take place from Friday the 5th until Sunday the 7th of October. So that's going to be really, really
We're talking
wonderful.
about October like it's so far away, but it's 5 months away.
It is gonna, before we know it, we're like, welcome to
When it's like
October,
summer
everybody.
again.
Shocking, the year's going at such a fast rate. Something else that was pretty shocking to me, because I saw on his Instagram just like a few days ago, he was rocking a crowd where he was performing, but South African rapper Ricky Rick announced on Saturday that he was taking a break from the spotlight in a series of tweets. Now, the artist also deleted all of his photos off of Instagram, and he said this. He said, "Friends and fam, I apologize sincerely to everyone who will be affected, but I am not in the right place mentally to continue doing shows or anything that involves leaving my children. I'm taking time to find my faith before I lose the connection with the people I love the most. Being a celebrity is difficult, and it's to tell people it's that he's not feeling well at this point. He says it's difficult to take time away because people expect you to be superhuman. I'm not superhuman. I'm just another human being who wants to find some sort of peace and happiness in my life. I'm sorry. I love you guys. See you later. Maybe." And of course, this break follows the popular performer telling Channel 24 Music in March, he said, "Right now I'm trying to break new ground and do things that people have never done in our space." So I don't know. I don't know what to think, but I do appreciate that though.
Yeah, you reach a point where you become burnt out because everyone takes their December, January break, but artists or people in the media industry, you carry on.
Yeah.
And then you reach a point where everyone is, you know, a little bit relaxed, or they've got some petrol in their engines, and you feel a little bit empty. So hopefully he enjoys this break. Hopefully we can remove the maybe and just see you later.
Yeah, respect.
Yes.
And I think everybody should respect that. I think as an entertainer, you give so much of yourself and you get so little in return. Take the time you need, Ricky Rick. We're going to be here when you get back.
That's right. There we go.
Well, all right. Well, after last night's grueling battle between the red and yellow team on tropical island of Treasure, Maldives, the red team, made out of Lozano and Brendan, took home the winning prize of a share of 1 million rand, everybody. Wow, mind blown. And we will have both teams on Expresso tomorrow morning and hopefully we'll be able to ask for Itsiki. I will ask for Itsiki because they have a lot. Well done, team.
Well done to them.
Well done, guys. Well done. What a prize, man. But they deserve it. They deserve it.
Oh.
It's crazy. Anyways, Amy Hopkins, Amy Hoppy, as she's known as well on social media, joins us once again this morning. So if you think about heading or hosting a kiddies party, all right, it's always filled with, you know, sugary treats and all things.
A lot of junk food, processed foods, and there's so many ways that you can really just use natural ingredients. So we've got some beautiful bananas over here.
I like this because I'm seeing little eyes.
Yes, and we've got
carrots.
little bits of carrot over here, and we're going to try and transform these bananas into little penguins.
Banana penguins. Right, this should be fun.
Yeah, so what we've got here, we've got some giant bananas, first of all.
This is a
This
big
is a
banana.
big boy.
Yeah.
And what you want to do is take the side that isn't too curvy, so a little bit more flat. And we've got some melted dark chocolate here. So you want to use really good quality dark chocolate, not too much sugar, obviously, because dark chocolate's actually really good for you. And then you just want to dip this in lightly. So what we're going to do here is now create the little penguin face. So we're going to put this just down over here flat, and actually we need just a tiny bit more here so we can stick the eyes on. There we go.
All right.
And it doesn't matter if the chocolate drizzles, that's why you're using wax paper. So
yeah, so
obviously
you can make a bit of a mess, it's
and
fine.
then you can put the wax paper in the fridge to obviously let everything set. So we're going to take our two little eyes over here, which you can either make out of fondant icing.
All right.
And you can dab a little bit of chocolate on, or you can obviously just get some little eye sweeties, which you know you can find in the shop. So there we go, there are little eyes. And now we're going to take our carrot, and we're going to use the carrot to make a little nose and little feet. So here we go. We're going to just use the chocolate to keep sticking everything together. There we go.
Oh, cute, it's coming together.
Finally, I know. I'm a little bit messy. I'm very clumsy with this kind of thing.
No, but I think it's such a cool idea.
Okay, and then there's our little feet. And that's our first penguin, which is a little messy. I always say the first one turns out a bit, you know, messy, but then more practice.
But it doesn't matter because, I mean, this is
look
great.
How
it's
cute
fun.
Is that? And you can actually get your kids to help you make these. So let's do another one.
Just turn this around.
Just turn this guy around so you can start seeing what our little banana penguin looks like.
That is so adorable. Wow.
And, you know, sometimes it's just the idea about getting kids to eat fruit and just seeing it as a playful kind of fun and a character as opposed to just a plain banana.
That's right.
And it's just such a lovely idea. It's really easy to make, and bananas aren't that expensive, and you can make a whole lot of these in prep in advance. So.
And the most important thing is it is healthy,
Exactly.
which is great.
Bananas
and the addition
are
of
so good for you.
Some beautiful dark chocolate as well is just phenomenal. So if you want to get your hands on the recipe, it is very, very easy like you've seen. But the keyword is eat. SMS that to 33728. That's eat to 33728 and put a nice little fresh spin on your next kiddies party. Amy, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
But you're not going anywhere.
No.
You're still going to bring us some
Got more
delicious
ideas.
recipes a little bit later on this morning, so make sure you tune in for that. You can also find this recipe, check it out on our website, expressoshow.com.
How cute are those?
Oh, Noonies.
Oh, adorable. Well, listen, My School, My Village, My Planet is one of South Africa's biggest fundraising programs, which allows you to help change lives simply by shopping.
That's right, you heard correctly. Now, every time you shop, you can help raise funds for the schools or charities that matters most to you. And this happens by downloading the free My School app and then scanning your virtual card at till points. A percentage of your purchase value will be given back to your chosen school or charity.
And this week's Thursday, we welcome the principal from the very unique Tygerberg Hospital School as we find out how the My School funds raised are benefiting them.
Absolutely. So remember, if you are not a My School supporter yet, all you need to do is download the My School app and sign up for free, and you'll get your free virtual card as well. And you can select up to 3 schools or charities and, of course, help raise funds for those that matter most to you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, look who's back. You might recognize them from a rather epic performance that they gave us on your Feel Good Breakfast Show a little while back. They are just phenomenal, but in today's fast-paced society, I mean, you really don't have much time to make a first impression. That is why we have come up with the perfect way for us to really get to know our music guests this morning. Anne Ray Felicity and Lauren Lee from Woman to Woman join us. So ladies, thank you very, very much for joining us this morning. You guys are phenomenal. Great to see you again, man.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, so before we get into chatting, we want to make sure that you guys are awake, first and foremost. We know that it's early. Right. We have heard the sound checks. You're going to be performing a little bit later on. You guys sound familiar, or familiar, fantastic. So we've got a series of rapid fire questions, all right? And you need to answer as many as you can in a minute, all right? So quick thinking.
Okay.
Are we ready? Are we ready with the clock? Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Movies or books?
Movies.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet. Salty.
Morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
Nice. Favorite word?
I don't know. You know what I mean?
That's my word. How do you take your eggs?
Sunny side up.
What?
Grease medley or cha-cha slide?
Cha-cha
Grease
slide.
medley. Grease.
Cha-cha slide. I'll go with that as well. Fruits or vegetables?
Vegetables. Oh. Okay.
Most used emoji?
Laugh. Yeah.
The crying one with the laughing face. That one. Yes.
If not a musician, what else would you be?
Oh. I am a beauty therapist. So.
Yeah. Teacher?
Teacher?
Okay, I am a teacher.
Okay.
Also.
70s, 80s or 90s?
90s.
I'm the oldest one.
And that's it. We got to 10. Well done, guys.
Great
Well
stuff.
done, yeah. Maybe we can push it a little bit. We'll need two more coffees. I think they will get there.
definitely.
But listen, Woman to Woman, you guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. So let's quickly talk about that elephant in the room, that performance that made everyone go absolutely crazy online, collectively getting over 30 million views, all right? Let's quickly get a recap as to what that was all about.
Okay, so the...
To the left, to the left. To the left, to the left. To the left, to the left. Everything you own in a box. To the left, in the closet. That's my stuff. Yes, if I bought it, say, don't touch. Don't touch. Keep telling that mess, that's fine. Could you walk and talk at the same time? And it is my name that is on that mix. So remove your bag so I can call you a cab. I'm standing in the yard, and he's telling me how I'm such a fool. He's talking me out. I will never ever find a bra like him. Yo, I ain't
Felicity, as we came in, as that clip started playing, Felicity goes like this. She's like, no, I can't believe it. How do you guys feel about that? Did you expect so many people to go online and watch that video? Over 30 million views, ladies.
No, not 30 million.
Not 30 million. That was just basically done as a promotion for a show that we did. And that was like a 3-minute feature in a 2-hour show. So,
And everyone went crazy about it. So,
And it's incredible. It is incredible what happened. And we had it live. We saw it the first time here on your Feel Good Breakfast show.
I think you guys also had a shock.
Yeah, we did. But you know what? I think a lot of people, looked at this video and they had good things to say, and there was also a lot of bad things to say about it. A lot of negative comments and thinking, how can you kind of like do that, to a big song like that? How do you guys take that? I mean, how do you deal with the negative comments from that video? What would you say to people?
okay, to be honest, we like personally, I didn't like really look into it because I'm a very sensitive person. So I was like, you know what? I'll just look over it, but that's just me.
Yeah, we didn't focus too much on the negative because it was never meant to be anything negative. It was just us having fun and deciding this is Beyonce, how she sings it, but I'm from Cape Town and this is how I want to do it. And if you're from Joburg or Durban, it's how you would do it. Yes,
And
that was all it was about.
We were quite specific because it was a Cape Flats rendition. It wasn't a Cape Town rendition. So, it's like, no, you guys are misrepresenting Cape Town. We're not representing Cape Town. We're like the lowest common denominator of the Cape Flats. That is who. How would she say, leave? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, you brought it and so much flavor in that performance as well. But on the positive side, it caused you guys to focus on bullying from that video, and you're putting that under the spotlight. So what is this all about? You've got this campaign going.
We are part of Kids to Kids. So the whole thing came about when we did an interview with Seoul magazine. And then that's when we found out that a girl was being bullied at school.
And they used the song.
The song, yeah.
They would play it when she walks down the corridor at school. And so she hated the song, and we were just like, it's not about that, and we cannot allow that.
It made us so emotional in our interview with the lady. Like really, there was like a moment of silence because we couldn't believe that they actually did that. So then we decided to be part of Kids to Kids, the anti-bullying campaign.
So what would your message be to kids out there, to bullies out there with regards to this issue? Because it is also something that sits very close to my heart, being a dad of two beautiful boys as well. So what would you pass on? What is that positive message?
I would say stop lungs.
Stop lungs.
You know what? It is just all about knowing who you are, believing in who you are. And I know, obviously, when you're so young, it's very difficult because you're still finding your feet. But just stay true to that person inside. And bullies, you know what? Just tell us what your actual problem is. Because it's definitely not that person that you bully. You know, that's how I feel about it.
I would agree. Yeah, exactly
Awesome.
that.
Ladies, thank you very, very much for joining us. And thank you for the work that you guys are doing, man. You guys are phenomenal. We can't wait to hear your performance, man. It's going to be amazing. So you go warm up, have a sip of coffee. We're going to be back with Women to Women in just a little bit for an epic performance on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
That's right. Well, it was great getting to know the ladies a little bit better. We're going to have Woman to Woman perform after the break, and then we'll also spend some time in the kitchen making a melon cake. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you after the break.
Beats fast, colors and promises. How to be brave? How can I love when I'm afraid to fall? But watching. It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on SABC3. It is a true Feel Good Tuesday morning. Why? Because we have the ladies of Women to Women joining us. We just had a chat to them ahead of the break. Of course, they were the ones that brought that Beyonce is irreplaceable in their own style and flavor that caused over 30 million views on YouTube. So we have them back this morning for your pleasure and entertainment. Here they are with 1,000 Years.
Beats fast, colors and promises. How to be brave? How can I love when I'm afraid to fall? Watching you stand alone, all of my doubts suddenly goes away somehow. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. Time stands still, beauty in all she is. I will be brave, I will not let anything take away what's standing in front of me. Every breath, every hour has come to this. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. All along I believe I will find you. Time has brought your heart to me. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. One step closer. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. All along I believe I will find you. Time has brought your heart to me. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more.
Wow, Woman to Woman live on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Ladies, thank you very much. That was 1,000 Years by Christina Perry. Beautiful song, eh? You gave the whole South African, whoever's watching all over the world, the chills and the feels on your Tuesday. Absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. Looking forward to your next performance. You can let us know what you thought about Woman to Woman's performance of 1,000 Years on our social media pages. Expresso Morning Show, SABC3 on Facebook. Always use the hashtag Expresso Show.
In the national news this morning, the Congress of South African Trade Unions says the national minimum wage is an achievement worth celebrating, as it will lift many out of poverty. But the delay in parliamentary processes, which has led to the postponement of the enactment date, is impacting negatively on workers. COSATU says it will use today, Workers' Day, to address issues around the national minimum wage and the radical economic transformation. Gauteng Provincial Secretary Dumisani Dakile says from today, COSATU will begin to engage in fighting for a living wage. The South African Road Passenger Bargaining Council says efforts to resolve the bus drivers' strike will continue after the long weekend. Talks between employers and unions broke down again last week. An intervention by the Commission for Conciliation, Mediation and Arbitration and the government yielded no settlement either, forcing commuters to continue making alternative arrangements as the long weekend wraps up. At least 16,000 bus drivers have downed tools, demanding a 12% increase. They have now been given an ultimatum to accept the revised offer of 8% by tomorrow. Now moving further abroad, at least 25 people have died after 2 suicide blasts ripped through the Afghan capital Kabul yesterday. The dead include AFP news agency chief photographer Shah Marai and 9 other journalists. The first attack happened around 8 a.m. local time when it was rush hour. Some 15 to 20 minutes later, when aid had reached the scene to help the injured, the journalists were there to cover the first attack. Another attacker amongst the group of journalists detonated himself. The Islamic State group has claimed responsibility for the attack. And finally, US President Donald Trump welcomed Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari to the White House yesterday. Their talks are expected to focus on promoting economic growth and reforms, fighting terrorism and other threats to peace and security, and building on Nigeria's role as a democratic leader in the region, according to a statement by White House spokesperson Sarah Sanders. Buhari, a 75-year-old former military leader who took office in 2015, has announced that he will seek a second term of office in elections next year. Well, that was your 7 o'clock news update. Let's get another look at what's happening in the world of sport. Here's Ewan.
Thank you very much, Leanne. Let's quickly take a look at those sport headlines. Now, in search of an unprecedented third consecutive European Cup title, Real Madrid take a 2-1 aggregate lead into the second leg of the UEFA Champions League semi-final against Bayern Munich at the Bernabeu tonight at 8:45. Now, setting aside Barcelona's La Liga title win and a few injury woes with Isco now also in doubt, coach Zinedine Zidane believes an all-out attacking mindset is key. Then Jurgen Klopp will have a similar approach tomorrow evening, allowing Roma back into last week's dominant 5-2 first leg win and more recently the loss of his key assistant Zeljko Buvac as Liverpool head to the Stadio Olimpico for the second leg of their semi-final. And then in the Premiership, the focus shifts to securing a Champions League spot for next season, with Manchester United having achieved just that with an impressive 2-1 win over Arsenal in their send-off to Wenger over the weekend. Tottenham took a big step towards edging out Chelsea last night, winning a 2-0 with Dele Alli and Harry Kane finding the back of the net against Watford. The Blues have a bigger mountain to climb at the end of the week, entertaining Liverpool on Sunday. And finally, really starting to provide some fireworks and compelling rivalries, the IPL is in full swing this week. Yesterday, Watson and Dhoni fired the Chennai Super Kings to a win over the Delhi Daredevils and to the top of the log by 13 runs. And today, AB de Villiers will be in action for the Royal Challengers Bangalore as they take on the Mumbai Indians at 4:30 this afternoon, certainly delivering on his form from the Proteas. He's currently 4th on the runs honours list with 280 runs at an average of 56, equaling Chris Gayle on 23 sixes in his 6 innings thus far. That's where we leave your sport for now. Zoe's got your traffic and weather coming up.
Well, taking a look and a reminder that motorists will be paying more as of tomorrow morning for petrol. It's set to increase, and this is due to the softer rand and combined rising oil prices that continue to push the petrol prices up in 2018. Now, a litre of 93 petrol currently is at 14 Rand 23 cents a litre. It will go up to 14 Rand 72 cents a litre, and this is surpassing a record of 14 Rand 49 cents that was recorded in December last year. So that is your petrol price update, but let's quickly take a look at what you can expect in your weather today. Polokwane is starting off on a low of 11, reaching a high of 24. Mbombela, your minimums 14, maximum 24. Pretoria 11, 22. Johannesburg 10, reaching a high of 20. Mahikeng 10, 23. Klerksdorp 10, reaching a high of 23. Kimberley, in Klerksdorp, a low of 10, a high of 23. Kimberley 12, reaching a high of 24. Bloemfontein 7:21, Richards Bay 17:25, Pietermaritzburg 12, reaching a high of 25. Partly cloudy conditions in Durban, 19 is your minimum, 25 your maximum. Mthatha 10, reaching a high of 27. East London 18-27, Craddock 11 reaching a high of 28, Port Elizabeth 17 reaching a high of 27. Partly cloudy conditions in George today, 14's your minimum, 28 your maximum, Sutherland 10 reaching a high of 24. Sunny conditions in Cape Town today, 14 with a high of 23, Worcester 10 reaching a high of 30, Springbok 8 with a high of 30, and Uppington 16's your minimum, 30 is your maximum. And that's where we leave your weather on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
All right, let's quickly take a look at all of those funny, random, and interesting things that we stumbled across on social media, Leanne.
I love them. It's too funny what people get up to.
I actually saw this clip yesterday, and it blew my mind completely. So we know dolphins, not only some of the smartest creatures around, but they're also very, very playful, all right? Now, an unsuspecting paddleboarder in Australia found himself in the line of fire with a spot of dolphins. Check it out! Bam! And
Really?
this dolphin just launched itself out at him. Can we see that again quickly?
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, it's almost as if the dolphins would go like, listen, dude, this wave, it's mine. What are you doing here?
I'm taking this wave.
Oh my
Look
goodness,
at him and he
bam!
boom.
That
is
epic.
so funny.
That is brilliant. I wonder what he must have felt, you know,
He
seeing
feels
this.
amazing. He
Yeah, but-
just got like pushed out the way by a dolphin.
But I mean, just standing on this paddleboard and this pot of dolphins just making its way to you.
Yeah.
It must be a bit
Be
of like
grateful it's
heart-pounding.
not shocks, though.
This
you
is
know.
true. This is true.
There we go. Just enough said. So we all know that you can never have enough cooking hacks. Like we love hacks, and it oftentimes leaves us thinking, "Oh my goodness, why did I not think of that?" How about this cooking hack? There's a guy on Facebook, a Chinese man, who decided to skin a cucumber with his teeth, and he manages to skin the entire vegetable using his teeth alone. Hey.
And he does it. It's a good job.
Chompers.
It's a good job. Look at him. Wow, dude. All right. Well,
To make the perfect salad.
that's
Very interesting.
Not very hygienic, but interesting.
Very interesting.
Definitely.
Well, listen, there's a doggy that has made his feelings towards makeup routines quite clear on Twitter, and this video has gone viral, showing him tugging off a sheet mask off his lady owner's face.
Wow.
No,
I don't like
we
it.
don't like that. It's gone viral with more than close to 1 million views. So look at that.
my
That's
word.
That's quite a
It looks-
scary.
Yeah.
hops that he took there, eh?
She obviously didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, and maybe
eh?
he didn't also recognize her as well. He's
Yeah,
like,
probably.
Who's this?
He's like, who's this?
Like,
Yeah.
Take it off, mama.
Anyway, so that's rather interesting. Thank you very much, Sophie, for that one. Which hashtag video or story has caught your attention? We'd love to know. You can share those thoughts with us online on our Facebook page and also on Twitter using our hashtag Expresso Show. Share the fun.
Exactly. Well, we are taking a look at a National Burn Awareness Month, and we're going to be chatting with our expert after the break.
That's it. It's our Tuesday Health Talks. And then also coming up in the kitchen, a melon cake, ladies. A melon cake, yeah.
Wow.
I wonder
that
if it's
sounds exciting.
We'll get into it after the break.
Win a trip to New York City worth 150,000 Rand. South Africa's #1 cream cheese, Lancewood, is on the hunt for the nation's #1 cake. To bake it all the way to the Big Apple, upload a picture of your cake with the Lancewood product used to lancewoodcakeoff.co.za. 3 finalists will make it through to our live cake-off on Expresso Show. 1 will impress celebrity judges Zola Nene, Jay Something and Lorna Maseko, and make it all the way to New York.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Now, it is the first day of May and also the first day of National Burns Awareness Month. Now, it's an opportunity for the South African Burn Society to raise awareness around burn prevention during the colder months ahead. And joining us this morning is plastic and reconstructive surgeon Dr. Werner Smith and physiotherapist Eleonora Lozano, who specializes in burn rehabilitation. So good to have you on the show.
Morning. Thank you for having us.
Great to have you here. I mean, this whole month is dedicated to burn awareness and burn injuries. Dr. Smith, I'm going to ask you, how significant of a problem is burns in South Africa?
Well, the problem is huge. I don't want to bore you this early in the morning with lots of statistics, but just consider this. Every year in South Africa, 1.6 million patients are burnt, and 12% of that actually are fatal. So that makes for a huge mortality rate or death rate of almost 9 out of every 100,000 patients being attended to. And the commonest cause still up to today in the century we live in for children under the year or under 4-year-old is burn injuries.
Wow.
Okay.
That is
those
considerable
are shocking statistics.
Yes.
Eleonora, when it comes to how to prevent these injuries, what should we be implementing, whether it be at home or at work?
So some of the suggestions is, as Werner's explained, like our toddlers and our children are most at risk. They're explorative in their nature and they have no fear or sense of danger at all. So when you're cooking, you have your pots and pans, your handles should be turned in. Your kettle cables and all those things should be out of reach, because otherwise
they're going to pull it down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When in the instances of when you're running your bath or you're preparing the hot water bath, put the cold water first and then go and put the hot water. You end up using less water that way as well, but then in that instance where you're preparing it, you're not leaving the hot water unattended. Things like your matches and your lighters should be kept out of reach. Care with candles, so making sure that they're blown out and not left unattended. So some of the strategies.
It's scary, like these incidences happen so quickly. And Dr. Smith, I want to ask you, from your experience, what is the most, the mechanism for injury? What's been the mechanism or the easiest way for people to have been burnt?
Well, the commonest cause in South Africa is still hot water burns or scalp burns, as we call them. But it differs from city to city, from province to province. As a whole in South Africa, we actually have about 37% of patients injured either by assault with fire or hot water thrown onto them. Wow, okay. 20% of these are accidental. 15% is due to shack fires or your informal housing burning down. 6% only to electrical burns, and only luckily 2% of industrial burns or chemical burns.
Okay. Well, as we heard, there are some shocking statistics around burns in South Africa and how easily it can happen to you or to the ones that you love. So when we come back after this, I want to get into what happens after you are burned. What is the next step? Because I think that's maybe where the problem gets exacerbated, the lack of knowledge on how to actually treat it at home once it happens. So we're going to get back with our experts, Dr. Werner Smith, that's here, and also Eleonora Lozano, and they're going to be giving us more information, so stay tuned.
All righty, thank you very much, lady. Jumping back into the kitchen with a lovely Amy this morning, and it's all about healthy kiddies party ideas.
That's right.
And those little banana penguins that you made a little bit earlier on, they're absolutely amazing, Amy. They look so cute. But the thing is with that, they were so easy as well. So I'm hoping that we can expect kind of a similar vibe here. A little bit more ingredients.
Easy enough.
Okay.
A few more ingredients. What we're going to do now is make a melon cake. So basically, we've taken a beautiful melon and we've just cut out the big center round and we've cleared the inside. And what I'd like you to do is help me just scoop a few more of these little guys. You just need to use your manpower over there. I know, just little gentle scoops and just pop them in the middle. It's also just a way to not waste obviously the excess melon from the bits that you've cut off. What I'm going to do in the meantime is make our dressing or frosting for the cake, and that's going to be used making some frozen banana, frozen berry blend with a bit of milk.
How much do you need in there?
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, so just a little bit more. Yeah, that's great. Like one more scoop.
Fine, I'll do one more scoop.
And then we've got some lovely fresh berries. As you can see, we've got some raspberries and gooseberries, and we've got some nuts and some coconut flakes. And all of those we're going to use to just decorate our cake and make it look all pretty. So
interesting.
So a little bit of milk over here.
All right.
Touch more, sorry. And as you can see, we've got all our lovely, beautiful blueberries and strawberries that'll give our frosting like a nice, pretty red colour.
My word, okay.
So just blitz this up for a couple seconds.
There we go.
Wonderful.
So you want it obviously nice and thick.
Yeah, you want it nice and thick. We can always loosen it up a little bit more with some milk. So what I'm just going to do is place a big
look at that.
spoon over here in our centre.
My word.
And then I'm just going to loosen this up just a touch because we want the rest to drizzle down the sides. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now.
Okay, so first you make a bit of a thicker mixture.
There we go. And it's also just because you want to create that kind of mountain in the middle, you know, and
that's the thing.
You want it to look all luscious and delicious.
Look at that. All right, well, if you want to get your hands on the recipe for our melon cake, I mean, this is such a cool idea. SMS the keyword fruit to 33728. That's fruit to 33728. And yeah, go for a healthy party snack alternative.
Exactly. So here we go. We're just going to decorate the top of our beautiful cake like that. And the berries have an almost ice cream texture, which is obviously quite appealing for the kids, and especially on a nice warm day.
Yeah.
And then we've got our lovely fresh berries over here. So we're just going to sprinkle some of these lovely raspberries on.
And we've got some
of our
gooseberries.
You can really use any kind of.
So really whatever you.
That's gorgeous.
Oh, it should be messy. It's
that's
amazing.
Perfect. And a little bit of coconut flakes. I just think they look so pretty as well. The white coconut.
That's it.
And I've brought some nuts as well for extra crunch. Obviously, you can use any kinds of nuts, or you don't have to use them at all.
Yeah.
If your kids have some sort of, nut
allergy,
allergy or anything. There we go. So that's our gorgeous
That is amazing.
melon cake. And I'm just going to try cut a little
Yeah, I wanted to ask you how to cut this now.
And what we'll just do on the day is you just serve these gorgeous little slices of melon with its extra fruit and all the little bits of extra fruit inside. So there we go. As you can see in there, we've got some extra raspberries and gooseberries. And we can just add a touch more of this gorgeous frosting, purple frosting. There we go.
Cool. The keyword is fruit. SMS that to 33728. I've never seen a fruit cake look this good. Absolutely amazing. It'll be on our website as well, expressoshow.com. Check it out. Amy, I love it. Absolutely. Let us know what you think about this beautiful creation that we have. A cake made completely out of fruit.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA, made with love by Clover. Well, today, as we said, is the first day of National Burns Awareness Month, and joining us in studio to chat more about this and, of course, enlighten us who are not so familiar with this topic is plastic and reconstructive surgeon Dr. Werner Smith, as well as physiotherapist Eleonora Lozano in studio. Now, before we left the last segment, I wanted to know what happens if you do get burnt. What is the next step that you have to do immediately?
So first and foremost, you have to stop the burning process. So whether that can be from fire, so practice your stop, drop and roll, immediately get that fire out. Or if you see someone who's on fire, get a blanket and just help douse the flames. Yeah. Or remove that child or that adult in that hot water situation, get them away from the burning process. Yeah. And then immediately cold running tap water for 20 minutes.
Water for 20 minutes.
20 minutes. It seems a very long time, but it's just, the point is to minimize the effect of the burn. Things that you shouldn't be putting on the burn is no ice, no butter, no toothpaste.
Oh,
I was about
all
to
the
ask
things I thought we were supposed to do.
Like baking powder, none of that.
None of that,
None
please.
of that.
So
Okay.
just running tap
Running
water.
water and then...
No foundation. We've heard horror
kinds
stories.
of
Jensen Violet, mercurochrome, none of those things. Literally just running tap water, and at that point, cover it with some cling wrap or cling film, or if you don't have that, a dry, clean towel, and seek medical attention. Get yourself to the hospital, the clinic, for further assistance, but running tap water.
Well, Dr. Smith, that was going to be my follow-up question is you've had your injury at home, you've now done the cold running water. What's the next process from that?
Just to latch on what Eleonora was saying, definitely after that period, go to your GP or to a clinic closest to you or a hospital. That wound needs to be seen by a medical trained person. From there, we will then assess the wound, either in the size or the severity of the wound, as well as the depth of the wound. Now, we judge the size of the wound in percentages of the total body surface area, and 1% of the patient's is 1% of the palm of the hand, is 1% of the patient's total body surface area. Now, as soon as this injury becomes significant, more than 10%, then you will need a fluid resuscitation with an IV line sited and drip running fluids in. And then also to judge the severity of the wound. It can differ from a very superficial wound that is just more than a severe sunburn really, to a full thickness burn where the total skin is burnt off and is charred and becomes leathery. And then, of course, from there, the medical attendant will decide whether to admit the patient, whether it needs surgery. From that, we've got certain criteria. Like all children, for instance, under 1 year age must be admitted. All inhalational burns must be admitted. Bigger burns must be elated. Electrical burns must also be admitted.
Okay. Well, you guys often talk about third-degree burns, second-degree burns. Is that the severity of how deep it is when you label it like that?
Yes, we've moved away from first to third or fourth degrees and rather say superficial, and then partial intermediate depth, and then your full thickness. For us as clinicians, it just makes better sense to work it like that.
Makes sense for us.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, the skin is the biggest organ that we have, so it's so good that we're being informed and kind of schooled on how to take care of ourselves. But when we come back, I want to find out what goes into reconstructive surgery of the skin. We've got our experts here, Dr. Werner Smith, as well as Eleonora Lozano, and they're giving us all of the info as to what to do as we kick off National Burns Awareness Month.
Thank you so much, Leanne. Yes, it is indeed Burn Awareness Month. We are continuing with that discussion after the break. Give us a call if you have any questions or comments. 021 430 9881. Dr. Van is in studio to answer all of your questions. And we'll also tell you how you can be part of a fantastic Mother's Day lunch. Yes, you can win some tickets after the break.
Hello, South Africa. Are you ready for me? Present the search on SABC3. We're out here.
Would you want to see me on your TV?
Do you think that I have what it takes to become the next SABC3 presenter?
It's me you are looking for. When you present, you have to be passionate about it.
Just put me in front of a camera and I'll show you how it's done.
Tune in to Presenter Search on 3
on the 10th of May, 7:30 sharp
on SABC3.
The stage is yours. Presenter Search on 3, proudly brought to you by Capitec and McCafe.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso. Hope you're enjoying your Workers' Day, but today's also the first day of Burn Awareness Month, and we have plastic surgeon and reconstructive surgeon Dr. Werner Smith and physiotherapist Eleonora Lozano with us in studio as we discuss some important things that comes around burning and what to do after that's happened. Now, Dr. Smith, we've spoken about, home remedies and getting to, not necessarily home remedies, but what to do at home, getting to the medical practitioner. What goes into reconstructive surgery for plastic surgery for burn victims?
Well, I must say a burn injury is one of the most painful injuries that one can sustain, and so is the process of harvesting the skin to reconstruct as well. So we have to attend to the patient's pain needs as well as nutrition in hospital. It requires multiple surgeries, going back to theatre for changes of dressings. It ends up to being a long hospitalisation period, and then you still have to do the rehabilitation as well. And from a surgeon's perspective, there needs to be proper planning. One has to have a sound judgment of what the depth of this injury is to make the right decisions for the patient. Also persevere, it's a long process. And then, of course, luckily we have the help of modern surgical techniques and more advanced medication and dressings to help the patient through this difficult process.
Now, I've heard of skin donations. How does such a process work, and does South Africa have a skin donation organization?
Yes, luckily we do have a skin bank. And correct, for a large percentage burns, we do need donor skin to cover those exposed areas with skin grafts, even if it's just temporary. So we need those skin to save lives. We just not need organ donors, we need tissue donors as well, because even after death, in the case of a tissue donor, one can still harvest skin, cornea, as well as bone from the donors.
Oh, wow.
Please go and have a look at Recycle Me, is a website where you can actually become a tissue donor as well and read more about the questions and get informed. Ek is 'n vel sowel as 'n orgaanskenker. En julle?
Can now in
yes, you can.
Well, I've registered organ donating, which I'm assuming also includes your skin because it's the largest organ.
Yeah.
But I did not know about that, and we've got those details on your screen if you would love to read a little bit more. Eleonora, I want to ask you, now that we've, it is a long process, it's a long journey to recovery. As a physiotherapist, how long does it take to get someone back to their full mobility after a burn?
So being able to give an exact timeline is actually really difficult because for example, no two burns patients that are 15%, for example, will respond the same way. It can take a period up to 2 years from their initial admission, working through their mobility, through their grafting, things like we have to wait a certain amount of time before we can start moving them, working hand in hand with the occupational therapists, the surgeons, and everybody on board. The other thing is the patient's own motivation is a very, very big factor that comes into play, and how they also, as Van had mentioned, it's very painful, so how they respond to analgesia, working through the trauma of the burn, and as I say, it's very difficult to predict, someone could be 6 months or not, it can actually take up to 2 years to get patients through. Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know, do we have one more segment coming up with our experts?
I think we do.
We do?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. We're going to take a quick news break. When we return, I want to speak about the emotional and psychological help that's offered after this trauma, because like Eleonora says it does take up to 2 years to deal with all of this. So we'll find out more from our experts after this. But first, let's catch up with your news headlines.
Thank you so much, Leanne. That's right. Let's quickly run you through your news headlines on your Tuesday morning. In your national news, the Congress of South African Trade Unions, COSATU, says the national minimum wage is an achievement worth celebrating as it will lift many out of poverty. But the delay in parliamentary processes, which has led to a postponement of the enactment date, is impacting negatively on workers. Then the South African Road Passenger Bargaining Council says efforts to resolve the bus drivers' strike will continue after the long weekend. Talks between employers and unions broke down again last week. In your international headlines, at least 25 people have died after 2 suicide blasts ripped through the Afghan capital Kabul yesterday. The dead include AFP news agency's chief photographer Shamarai and 9 other journalists. And US President Donald Trump welcomed Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari to the White House yesterday. We'll bring you a full update on the news bulletin at the top of the hour. Quickly take a look at your sports roundup. In search of an unprecedented 3rd consecutive European Cup title, Real Madrid take a 2-1 aggregate lead into the second leg of the UEFA Champions League semi-final, and that's against Bayern Munich at the Bonnebot tonight at 8:45. And then in your Premiership, with Manchester United having achieved just that with an impressive 2-1 win over Arsenal in their send-off to Wenger over the weekend, Tottenham took a big step towards edging out Chelsea last night, winning a 2-0 with Dele Alli and Harry Kane finding the back of the net against Watford. And finally, really starting to provide some fireworks and compelling rivalries, the IPL is in full swing this week. Yesterday, Watson and Dhoni fired the Chennai Super Kings to win over the Delhi Daredevils and to the top of the log by 13 runs. Today, AB de Villiers will be in action for the Royal Challengers Bangalore as they take on the Mumbai Indians at 4:30. That's a quick look at your sporting headlines on your Tuesday morning.
just a quick reminder about that petrol price update. Now, motorists can expect to pay record prices at the pumps from midnight. That's from tonight, as a softer rand combined with rising oil prices continue to push petrol prices higher in 2018. Now, a litre of 93 petrol currently at 14 rand 23 cents a litre will go up to 14 rand 72 cents, and that's surpassing the record of 14 rand 49 cents in December last year. And that's where we leave your traffic update for now.
Pharmadynamics, effective, affordable healthcare.
Thank you so much, Zoe. Let's quickly get another take on your weather and your temperatures. And it looks like temperatures remain moderate across the country with a couple of scattered showers that's expected over the northeastern region of South Africa today. Your temperatures, Polokwane 11 minimum with a mild maximum of 24 degrees. Mbombela 14, 24. Pretoria 11, 22 with some scattered showers expected. Also some showers expected for Johannesburg, 10 minimum with a maximum 20. Maikeng 10, 23. Klerksdorp 10:23 as well. Kimberley 12:24. Bloemfontein 7:21. Richards Bay 17:25. Pietermaritzburg on 12 minimum, reaching a high of 25 degrees. Durban 19:25. Mthatha 10:27. East London on 18 minimum, your maximum 27 degrees. Cradock 11:28. Port Elizabeth 17:27. George 14:28. Sutherland 10 minimum with a mild maximum of 24 degrees. Cape Town 14:23. Worcester 10:30. Springbok 8 minimum with the maximum 30. And Uppington on 16 minimum and your maximum 30 degrees Celsius. That's a wrap of your weather and your temperatures. We'll take another look at it at the top of the hour.
Well, it's time for us to catch up one more time with plastic and reconstructive surgeon Dr. Werner Smith, as well as Eleonora Lozano, and they are our experts this morning as we chat about kicking off National Burns Awareness Month. Now, we've spoken about a whole host of things. We're very, very informed right now, but I want to speak about the emotional and psychological aspects of the healing process, because it's not just the physical that we need to take into consideration. It is a huge, huge adjustment, and the skin is the first thing we see when we meet someone, and how the health of it really has to affect a patient in a very detrimental way to know that you have to go through this process.
Absolutely, as you said, it's not just the physical side of things, it's that emotional, it's aesthetic appearance of how the scars look. So managing scars, we have things like pressure garments that we advocate for patients, as well as scar massage. But then we have certain instances where you can have an expressive therapist, psychologists, volunteers that come in and help patients along this journey. So not just from a medical perspective, but there's so many other people on board that help the patients through. And then from a health professional's perspective, you're not one man making a decision. We're a multidisciplinary team. There's so many people in terms of communicating and getting through everything. And we walk the journey with the patients and their families together.
I was about to say it also affects the families, especially given the statistics that so many kids are, victims of burn injuries. Now, Dr. Smith, I want to ask you, how can people get more involved? I mean, we have a month that we're going to be, highlighting burn awarenesses, putting the spotlight on injuries, but how can people get involved that want to get more involved?
I think the essence is prevention is better than cure.
Yeah.
If we start there, we've won the battle at least halfway. En dan help om tragedies te voorkom, moenie tragedies veroorsaak nie, en wees ingelig om hierdie beserings te voorkom. En hoe meer ingelig mens is oor hoe om brandwonde te voorkom en te behandel, hoe beter gaan die uitkoms uiteindelik wees. Gaan loer gerus op die Sikelele Impilo Stichting se webwerf en teken aan. Dis notonmywatch.org.za of by www.sikelelaimpilo.org.za vir meer inligting in die verband.
Okay. Thank you so much for supplying that. And I think it's also very important, like you say, for people to become skin donors and to, what is that website that you said we should check out again?
Recycle Me.
Recycle Me. Yes. That's another one
like
that you have to watch.
Bottle.
But we've got notonmywatch.org.za currently on your screens right now. I think it's a very important month, and we just have to say thank you so much for coming, informing us a little bit more on, burn awarenesses and injuries and what to do if it happens and the process that follows after that. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Very informative topic indeed for your Tuesday. We're going to be taking a very quick moment in between. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to tell you how you can get your hands on some tickets to a very delectable Mother's Day lunch. And we're also going to be celebrating our local design talent because we are such a talented nation when it comes to our design. We'll run you through after the break.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. I hope you're having a wonderful Workers' Day. But time for us now to quickly tap into our international entertainment source and find out what our stars have been up to.
Exactly. Do you remember, was it a month ago that Zayn Malik and Gigi Hadid decided to call it quits?
It was the other day.
Exactly, it was the other day. Well, according to sources, not only has Zayn Malik got a brand new shaved head, but it seems like that has been upstaged by the fact that him and Gigi Hadid get back together again because they've been displaying some serious PDA. Whoo, those lips are saying a few things. And the exes were all over each other on Sunday in New York City. Now, the scene, combined with Zayn's new look, would normally draw attention, but it especially does so now because they announced their split only a month ago, and now they're back together after 2 years together. They just up and were done with one another. And we were like, what? And apparently she said, whatever's meant to be will always be. So it seems like the two of them are meant to be. I don't know how I feel about that head, though.
I don't like it. I feel like he was part of the cast from Prison Break.
Oh, my word. The new Michael Schofield. Anyways, at least Michael had a reason for his tattoos. After weeks and weeks of silence from the Kardashian-Jenner clan, Kim Kardashian has finally broken her silence on the whole Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson cheating scandal. On Ellen DeGeneres, she came out and said, you know what, she doesn't even know how to describe it. It is so expletive here. And of course, she was not holding back at all. The 37-year-old reality star said this in a sneak peek appearance that's going to be on probably next week on South African television, but you can catch it on YouTube right now. The show is only airing next week, but in the clip, Kim breaks her silence about her younger sister's relationship drama. Now, various videos surfaced earlier this month, allegedly showing Khloe's boyfriend, not allegedly, it happened, okay, baby daddy, cheating, because that's what he did. And this happened with several women just days before she was to give birth to their very first baby together. True. Now, Tristan was reportedly at her side during the delivery and left the hospital hours later. Neither Tristan nor Khloe have yet commented on the videos. The clan has also been pretty mum regarding the cheating scandal, but did congratulate Khloe on the birth of her firstborn. However, when Ellen came out and asked Kim her opinion about the recent drama, all she said was, poor Chloe. But she added, we really were rooting for Chloe, and we still are. She's so strong, and she's doing the best that she can. Instead of trashing Tristan, Kim decided to keep it classy and added that the whole family was supporting Chloe during this time. It's really a sad situation all over. And of course, she says, it kind of made us rule with brother that, it kind of made them stand with her even more. So I just think that I love Kim for being the first one to come out and say it.
But I also love the little policy she has with her brother that you mentioned earlier, that they said that when there's a baby involved, she's not going to say anything negative because one day True will watch this and she doesn't want to have anything negative to say. She's just going to stay positive.
But she did say the expletive in the beginning,
but
so I was just like,
it is messed up. But that was our international entertainment news for you this morning. Now, you can celebrate the hashtag Unstoppable Woman in your life with a very inspirational Mother's Day lunch. And that's with Zoraida Jardine, Sharesni Ryder, Tembi Siete, Sonia Mbele, and some of the women who have inspired them along their unstoppable journeys. Now, to enter, buy any 2 Ponds Age Miracle products at your Dis-Chem and swipe your Dis-Chem card. But for more details, go to the Ponds Facebook page. Those T's and C's do apply.
Living a non-stop life weakens your skin, leading to folds and dull, uneven skin tone. New Ponds Age Miracle with our first ever retinol C booster technology.
Win a Mother's Day experience for you and your mom. Buy any 2 Ponds Age Miracle products at Dis-Chem and swipe your Dis-Chem card.
Right, next up on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, it's the hub of an economic miracle and a 2,000-year-old city that's home to almost half its country's citizens. Seoul in Korea is also where Katlego is heading next with the winners of a rather fantastic competition from Hyundai. So let's quickly take a look at this adventure of a lifetime.
By test driving the new Hyundai Tucson at their nearest dealership, 4 lucky winners won themselves a trip to Seoul in South Korea, the home of Hyundai. In the Hyundai City to Seoul competition, not only did these winners win a trip to Seoul, but each winner also got to invite a +1 on this once-in-a-lifetime experience.
It's amazing, it's a different country. As soon as you land here, you see there's a lot of differences from your own country.
It's the first time we come to South Korea, and it's a very built-up city and a lot of infrastructure everywhere, bridges everywhere. We cross so many of them.
It's really big, lots of lights and big buildings, and very different to where I live.
I haven't travelled anywhere abroad besides South Africa. I have not left the borders, so this is the first time for me. It's absolutely amazing.
The 5-star Conrad Seoul Hotel offers a new level of luxury. More than a landmark to the skyline, its spacious rooms with panoramic views over the city offer the latest in technology, comfort and entertainment.
So I might not be looking bright-eyed and bushy-tailed after a very long journey, but the capital city of South Korea has given us all a very warm welcome. We finally arrived at the Conrad Hotel in Seoul, and first impressions, absolutely beautiful. I can't wait for the adventure that lies ahead, which actually starts in about an hour with dinner, so I need to get freshened up.
The Hyundai team had booked us into the stylish Eunsan restaurant in Yeodudong, a popular spot among locals and travelers seeking a taste of Korean culture and traditional cuisine.
All dressed up and a particular place to go. Now Hyundai have planned a dinner for us to experience true Korean cuisine at the Eunsan right here in the heart of Seoul. And I hear that their kimchi is to die for. Can't wait.
The local cuisine was really interesting. It was something very different. The flavors are unlike anything we have in South Africa.
It was funny seeing lots of people's reactions to tasting the first taste of a flavor that you've never had before.
The culture is different. The Korean culture is much different compared to our Indian lifestyle. They give you much less quantity but more food.
And healthier.
And it's much more healthier options. The spiciness is there, the heat is there, but it's beautiful, it's enjoyable as well.
So Young, this is an absolutely beautiful space and we are all so excited to be here. Tell me about what makes the Eunsan such a unique restaurant.
Because of the design right here in the restaurants, it's very more traditional than the other restaurants here. The food are very great and fresh, so most of the customers really loved it here.
So, what are you serving up for our Hyundai guests tonight?
What we're serving for our guests here today from Hyundai is there's quite something special in the vegetables. There's a place called Kaesong in the North Korea. It only comes from North Korea, so we have those veggies. There's a water kimchi, which is not spicy, and there's a bit of a spicy meat. You should eat the meat with the vegetables together, and that's called 제육보쌈. And for the main dish, for our menu, it's very famous in Korea. It's called bibimbap. So that's our main menu here. For the dessert, there's a blueberry banana mousse and something called a meshel tea, but it's a drink.
It was delicious. Every part of the meal, from the starter to the dessert. So we thoroughly enjoyed it, and looking forward to the next few days of Korean cuisine as well.
Once in a lifetime experience, and I think we're very privileged to have tasted all this different food and an explosion of taste in one evening.
After our first authentic Korean experience, everybody was looking forward to experiencing the rest of the sights, sounds and flavors of Seoul, courtesy of Hyundai.
Hyundai has been an amazing brand to come out here with so far. You know, the cars are everywhere. I think Hyundai makes up 70% of the cars on the road here.
The Hyundai brand experience is exactly what I expected it to be, formal yet friendly. So I'm very happy with them, and they seem to want to engage with you a little bit, show you a little bit extra.
Looking forward to where guys are going to take us to places we would have never been able to go if we just came by ourselves. So just go with the flow and just let the Hyundai team take us on the little experience and the little flow that they're going to take us on. Should be cool.
I've got to say, it hasn't even been 24 hours and I'm already in love with this place. After a long day, a great meal with great company, it's time to get some rest before we start our grand tour of the home of Hyundai, the city of Seoul.
Well, we all know that Woolworths is synonymous with trend-setting fashion, which is why it's no surprise that most recent Style by SA collaboration, which only hit the stores, is helping redefine South African style. And straight from the runway at South African Fashion Week to your closet, this is your opportunity to stake your claim on the autumn-winter essentials from some of our country's most talented designers. And speaking of staking your claim, the dress that I'm wearing is Style by SA, this look, and it's also styled by our Expresso fashion editor Nick Strelitz.
Did I style it? Yes, I did.
You did,
and
but
you
it
look
made
amazing.
And then it was such an easy, it's one of those outfits that I really, really like. I like simplicity. You put it on and you look and feel fabulous.
You are doing the most, so you look incredible.
You. Well, what do you love about the Style by SA collection?
What I love the most is that we're really talking about our country's best and brightest, and these are all emerging young designers. So Woolies is taking these incredibly talented creatives, giving them a platform to show their pieces to a larger audience, giving them the resources and the business know-how to develop their enterprises, which is so crucial, especially in a country like South Africa, where we're such a young country creatively.
Yes.
Not everyone has 200,000 Rand to go out and start a fashion label.
No.
So Woolies is fostering this talent. I mean, look how incredibly beautiful that campaign shot is as well. I mean, these kids are incredibly talented, and we're fostering the best of the best.
You are fostering the best
Not
of the
me
best.
personally, but
now,
I'm
yesterday I wore a red head-to-toe outfit from Rich
beautiful.
Manisi.
Yeah.
Today as well.
Yeah.
And how do the outfits from Style by SA compare to that on the international circuit?
It's incredible because we're seeing international standards of fashion brought to South Africa. So Zoe, what you have today, this stunning Rich Manisi pleated cream dress, we saw it on the runway here as well. We see other pieces from Rich Manisi as well. I mean, pleats, as we know, they're a fashion staple, a perennial staple, and Woolies is doing all the most things with pleats this summer. It just gives it a little more of an edge to your basic sort of bodycon cream dress.
Yes.
I mean, it's so simple, and I think simplicity is the best.
It is.
It's the best.
And I feel like I've taken some style tips from you, even though you dressed us this morning. You said that you can take a summer essential and you, by simply putting a tee underneath, you can wear it in winter. I've paired it with the ankle bootie. I'm taking serious notes because this is such a great dress to not only wear into summer, but we're going into winter right now.
Absolutely. And you can even do like a long tube sleeve top underneath there as well when it's colder.
Polo neck.
You are learning, girls.
Expert.
Zoe, yes. But also other pieces. I mean, one of Leanne's personal favorites is this Tebe Magugu masterpiece. So Tebe Magugu also one of the biggest and best of South African talents. And again, we're seeing these rich, deep tones for autumn. We're seeing mustards, we're seeing burgundies. And this color is so incredible. And when paired head to toe, it's bam.
It makes a
drama.
huge statement.
It's a statement.
It makes a very big statement.
They're all statement pieces, but still understated, which is like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Another designer, Sindiso Kumalo, who also is one of the Style by SA crew, she did her thing on the runway as well. Her doing more sort of the androgynous button-up, sort of playing around with what's more of a man's staple, but using it for a women's wear piece, which I always talk about. I love that blending of what's good for men is good for women and vice versa in fashion.
Yeah.
I mean, South African Fashion Week was an incredible success. Woolies did their thing. Here's some more pieces from the crew. And I think this is one of the best collections I've seen in South African fashion, Zoe. So it's incredible accomplishment for the designers.
Well done to them, and I can only imagine it's going to go from strength to strength from here on onwards. Well, thank you so much for dressing us this morning.
So
I
it's
love
my pleasure.
This. Absolutely
I'm
love
taking
this.
that for next week.
And if you love it as well, of course, it's very easy for you. You can head on over to Woolworths in Sandton, Rosebank, Mall of Africa Pavilion, or Canal Walk to shop the Style by SA capsule collection that's in store now. And I can promise you it's not going to be there for long because it will sell out. It's also available online. You can head on over to woolworths.co.za and get the look. And you know this collaboration is only available for a limited time, so make sure you get it in, get your order in before you left disappointed when it's all sold out.
So from top fashion trends to these fashionable ladies, joining us back on your Feel Good Breakfast show is Woman to Woman, and they are here with another epic performance just after the break. Make sure you don't miss it. They are absolutely phenomenal. And then we're also going to be hanging out with a Marvel comic book artist. Can you believe it? Declan Shalvey's in the studio. We're going to pick his brain a little bit. That and more after the break.
Life needs flavor, so join Zoe and I as we learn more about Ukraine every Friday on Expresso.
Because you could win a #Lays Ukraine experience and double tickets to the UEFA Champions League final. To enter, purchase a packet of Lays with the UEFA Champions League branding, dial *120*76453# and follow the prompts.
Also remember to keep your slips, that's very important, and T's and C's apply. Add flavor to your life with Lays and Expresso.
Stand a chance to win a Ukraine experience plus double tickets to the UEFA Champions League final. To enter, buy, dial and stand a chance to win.
You by my side, and I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong, and I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. So you're back from outer space. It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Happy birthday, a very happy birthday to you.
Oh, well, every time I hear this tune, I think of Katleho that dances like this. Well, you know what? Every day, millions of people are celebrating their birthday all around the world. So we're going to take today, the 1st of May, and take a moment to wish some of our celebs, even you at home, a happy birthday.
May I begin with iconic director Wes Anderson, who celebrates his birthday today. Of course, he's well known for films that have a very distinctive visual and narrative style. He's best known for the films The Royal Tenenbaums, as well as Moonrise Kingdom and The Grand Budapest Hotel. He's regarded by many as a modern-day example of an auteur.
Oh, he is absolutely brilliant. Love his style of work. And also celebrating his birthday today is British actor Jamie Dornan, best known for his role in The Huntsman in the popular fantasy drama series Once Upon a Time, and of course as Christian Grey in the 50 Shades franchise.
Okay, everybody before that was like, yeah, we don't care about the others. We care about 50 Shades.
Well done.
The truth.
Pulled off Mr. Grey quite well. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Well, that is our bite-sized dose of who's having their birthdays today. So remember, you can share your birthday or the birthday of someone that you love, and you can do that on our social media. Remember to tweet us using that hashtag or that @handle Expresso Show. But happy birthday to you if you're celebrating today.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you are ready for another powerful performance. We have the gorgeous ladies of Woman to Woman right here in your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Here they are with their Survivor medley. Take it away, ladies.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. And I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong, and I grew strong. And I learned how to get along. So you're bound from outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. Should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you leave your keys. If I had known for just 1 second, you'll be back to bother me. When I go, walk out the door, just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one that tried to break me with goodbye? Did you think I'd crumble? Do you think I'd lay down and die? I'm not gonna give up, I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder, I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it, I will survive. Keep on surviving. Oh, I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love. Oh, less without you. You thought I wouldn't last without you, but I'm lasting. Thought that I would die without you, but I'm on top. Even in my years to come, I'm still gonna be here. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I will survive. Keep on surviving. Oh, I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to live, I know I'm still alive. I'm a survivor. I got all my life to give, and I will survive. I will survive. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I will survive. Keep on surviving. I'm a survivor.
Yes, they're not going to stop. They're going to just keep going. Ladies, thank you very, very much for the inspiration that you bring to us this morning. Where can people catch up with you? Where can they get hold of you?
We have a page, Woman to Woman. That's where they can catch us.
All right.
On our page. Yeah.
We also have a live streaming page, so people can go onto Google Play Store or iStore, download the Voove app, and then they can just search for us, click follow, and then they'll find us there.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you very much, ladies. Don't go anywhere. Right, let us know what you thought about that performance on our social media pages using that hashtag Expresso Show. They're going to be back for one more performance before we wrap up your Tuesday.
In the national news this morning, the Congress of South African Trade Unions says the national minimum wage is an achievement worth celebrating, as it will lift many out of poverty. But the delay in parliamentary processes, which has led to a postponement of the enactment date, is impacting negatively on workers. COSATU says it will use today, Workers' Day, to address issues around the national minimum wage and radical economic transformation. Gauteng Provincial Secretary Dumisani Dakile says from today, COSATU will begin to engage in fighting for a living wage. The South African Road Passenger Bargaining Council says efforts to resolve the bus driver strike will continue after the long weekend. Talks between employers and unions broke down again last week. An intervention by the Commission for Conciliation, Mediation and Arbitration and the government yielded no settlement either, forcing commuters to continue making alternative arrangements as the long weekend wraps up. At least 16,000 bus drivers have downed tools, demanding a 12% increase. They have now given an ultimatum to accept the revised offer of 8% by tomorrow. Now moving further abroad, at least 25 people have died after 2 suicide blasts ripped through the Afghan capital, Kabul. The dead include AFP news agency chief photographer Shah Marai and 9 other journalists. The first attack happened around 8 a.m. local time when it was rush hour. Some 15 to 20 minutes later, when aid had reached the scene to help the injured, the journalists were there to cover the first attack. Another attacker amongst the group of journalists detonated himself. The Islamic State group has claimed responsibility. And then finally, US President Donald Trump welcomed Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari to the White House yesterday. Their talks are expected to focus on promoting economic growth and reforms, fighting terrorism and other threats to peace and security, and building on Nigeria's role as a democratic leader in the region, according to a statement from White House spokesperson Sarah Sanders. Buhari, a 75-year-old former military ruler who took office in 2015, has announced that he will seek a second term of office in elections next year. Well, that was your 8 o'clock news update. Here's a final look at what's happening in the world of sport with Ewan.
Thank you so much, Leanne. Let's quickly run you through your sport headlines. In search of an unprecedented third consecutive European Cup title, Real Madrid take a 2-1 aggregate lead into the second leg of their UEFA Champions League semi-final. That's against Bayern Munich at the Bernabeu tonight at 8:45. Now, setting aside Barcelona's La Liga title win and a few injury woes with Isco now also in doubt, coach Zinedine Zidane believes an all-out attacking mindset is key. Then Jurgen Klopp, who will have a similar approach tomorrow evening, allowing Roma back into last week's dominant 5-2 first leg win, and more recently the loss of his key assistant Željko Buvac as Liverpool head to the Stadio Olimpico for the second leg of their semi-final. And then in the Premiership, the focus shifts to securing a Champions League spot for next season, with Manchester United having achieved just that with an impressive 2-1 win over Arsenal in their send-off to Wenger over the weekend. Tottenham took a big step towards edging out Chelsea last night, winning a 2-0 with Dele Alli and Harry Kane finding the back of the net against Watford. The Blues have a bigger mountain to climb though at the end of the week, entertaining Liverpool on Sunday. And finally, really starting to provide some fireworks and compelling rivalries, the IPL is in full swing this week. Yesterday, Watson and Dhoni fired the Chennai Super Kings to a win over the Delhi Daredevils and to the top of the log by 13 runs. Today, AB de Villiers will be in action for the Royal Challengers Bangalore as they take on the Mumbai Indians at 4:30, certainly delivering on his form for the Proteas. He's currently fourth on the runs honours list with 280 runs at an average of 56, equaling Chris Gayle on 23 sixes in his 6 innings thus far. That's your sports news. Right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We'll take another look at those headlines in half an hour's time.
Just a final reminder that the petrol price will be increasing and motorists can expect to pay record prices at the pumps from Wednesday as a softer rand and combined with the rising oil prices continue to push the petrol prices higher, and that's in 2018. Now, a litre of 93 petrol currently costs 14 Rand 23 a litre and will go up to 14 Rand 72 cents, surpassing the record of 14 Rand 49 cents that was recorded in December last year. And that's where we leave your traffic update for now.
Turning air into pristine, clean drinking water. Cirrus Water, the future of sustainable drinking water. All right, let's quickly take another look at your weather and your temperatures right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's a Tuesday morning and moderate temperatures can be felt across most parts of the country with a couple of scattered showers that's expected for the northeastern region today. Your temperatures quickly: Polokwane 11 minimum with a mild maximum of 24 degrees. Mbombela 14-24. Pretoria on 11 minimum with a maximum 22. Johannesburg 10 minimum reaching a high of 20. Mahikeng 10-23. Klerksdorp 10-23 as well. Kimberley 12-24. Bloemfontein 7, 21. Richards Bay on 17, a minimum reaching a high of 25 degrees. Pietermaritzburg 12, 25. Durban 19, 25. Mtata 10, 27. East London 18, 27. Cradock 11, minimum with a maximum 28 degrees. Port Elizabeth 17, 27. George 14, 28. Sutherland 10, minimum with a mild maximum of 24. Cape Town starting off on 14, reaching a high of 23. Worcester 10, 30. Springbok 8 and a minimum or maximum of 30. And Uppington starting off on 16, also reaching a high of 30 degrees Celsius. It's a wrap of your weather for the 8 o'clock bulletin. We'll get you another update in half an hour's time.
Well, it's time for us to head to social media. Hashtag TIOT8. What an exciting episode last night. That's what's currently trending. Katlejo says to Name Maps and Rudy Witkowski, aka Team Yellow, you were worthy advisories. No, I think you meant adversaries and a killer combo of bromance. Oh, such a beautiful team they are. Thank you for showing us all what teamwork can inspire. It was an absolute pleasure having you on hashtag TIOT8. Call Me Daffy Duck says, enjoyed this season of TIOT8. Congratulations, Team Red. Jordan says, I just gained a lot of respect for Name Apps, even with all the support I showed for the Team Yellow team. He liked my tweet. Such a true gentleman. And then Al Abroad says, working on the PR side of things for TIOT8 has been one of the most exciting projects I've ever worked on. Really happy for the teams involved. So wonderful. Congratulations, Team Red, on an amazing win. And of course to Team Yellow, you guys did so well as well.
All right, well, we're going to be taking a quick moment in between. Don't go anywhere. Go recharge your coffee cup, your tea cup, your hot chocolate cup, whatever gets a smile on your face this Tuesday. When we come back, we chat to this man over here, Declan Shalvey, a Marvel comic book artist. Yes, the one and only. We'll pick his brain a little bit.
Exciting things. And then it's also Travel Tuesday. We'll be highlighting 5 spots to go and visit in Hawaii. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you after the break.
Fly.
Win a trip to New York City worth 150,000 Rand. South Africa's #1 cream cheese, Lancewood, is on the hunt for the nation's #1 cake. To bake it all the way to the Big Apple, upload a picture of your cake with the Lancewood product used to lancewoodcakeoff.co.za. 3 finalists will make it through to our live cake-off on Expresso show. 1 will impress celebrity judges Zola Nene, Jay Something and Lorna Maseko and make it all the way to New York.
Welcome back. You're tuning into your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on SABC3. Thank you very much for joining us on your Tuesday. Now, the world is currently in Marvel frenzy, and it's safe to say because with the release of Black Panther earlier this year and also last weekend's release of possibly the most ambitious superhero film ever made, Avengers Infinity War. Now, also this past weekend, Cape Town hosted 2018 FanCon that brought international and local artists and also comic book enthusiasts together under one roof. A phenomenal event. But this morning, we're very lucky to have one of the stars of the show join us, Irish comic book writer and artist Declan Shalvey, who has illustrated for comics like Moon Knight, Deadpool, Venom, Batman, and also The Punisher. Declan, so good to have you, my friend. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
This is very interesting, and I'm so happy that we're able to get to sit down and just pick your brain a little bit. I mean, this must be a dream job, I think, for a lot of people who's into drawing and comic books. I mean, comic books, they've been around for so many years and a big part of people's lives. What does a day in the life of Declan look like?
It's not as glamorous as this, I'll tell you that much. It's just you get up in the morning and you read your script and you start working on your layouts. You pencil your page, you ink your page. It's pure fun, but it is long hours. It's freelance illustration at the end of the day, which is very work intensive. But if that's all I've ever wanted to do all my life, so it's hard to complain when you literally get to do your dream job. I wake up and I draw comics all day, and that's it. Sometimes you get a bit jaded because the grind can be very difficult. But at the end of the day, you have to step back and go, look what I'm doing. I make a living doing this. This is crazy.
But I mean, with so many talented artists out there and all across the world, I mean, what does it take to be in the position, or to get to the position where you are today?
Just walk all over anybody who's in your way. I think that's very
draw all over anyone.
Exactly. No, it's very competitive because everybody wants to do it.
Yeah.
But I started out going to conventions in the UK because there's not really much in Ireland, especially when I was growing up. I'm from the County Clare, where it's just castles and cows and sheep. Yeah. Not exactly the hub of comics. But I went to conventions in the UK and then eventually America, and you kind of show your portfolio and you try and meet editors and meet other creators, and slowly you kind of build a network of people who you know, and once your work gets to a point, hopefully people will hire you.
Yeah. So is there any kind of formal training involved? Yes, you need to be talented as an artist as well, but going into a franchise like Marvel, one of the biggest franchises in the world when it comes to superheroes and films, and every second movie is almost a superhero film.
Yeah.
What type of training do you need to have under your belt?
Well, it's. I studied. Excuse me. I studied fine art in Ireland, but that doesn't really matter. It's because there's people who train themselves and there's people who go for training. It's completely subjective because it just depends on how good the work is. I know guys who had no training and are amazing artists because they're self-taught, who went on to become artists. I know plenty of people who are trained, and it took them like myself. It took me maybe another 4 years after I had a fine art degree before I was ready to draw comics. Every person is different. Depends where you're from. Depends what your inspirations are. What your talent, the levels of talent. It's really hard to kind of pin that down.
And I'm sure also you must develop such a good knowledge around the characters to properly illustrate them as well. Is that something that you need to focus on as well?
Not really, but if you really are a comics fan, then all this stuff is in your brain already, So there's lots of there's definitely. So I'm just finished drawing this Fantastic Four story, and I'm not the biggest Fantastic Four fan. But I do know a lot of the comics. There's stuff where I had to reference stuff that was drawn in the 80s. It was 2 issues I had never. So I had to look up character costumes and stuff like that. So no matter how well versed you are, I am a total nerd. it doesn't matter because there's pockets and pockets of more. The more niche you get, there's niche with a niche with a niche. So it's definitely if you have a shorthand of how comics are made and how they work. Yeah. And where the characters come from, that definitely helps. But there's still stuff in the films, the Infinity Gauntlet, and I'm I think I know what that is, but it doesn't shouldn't really matter to enjoy it, but it definitely helps to make it.
Absolutely. Declan, thank you very much for joining us. We're not done yet. We're going to continue chatting with Declan in just a little while. Very, very interesting. What a career, my friend. What a career.
Cheers.
Well, May the 1st is Workers' Day, but it's also Lay Day in Hawaii, and is one of the best places to go if you're looking to take a break from all the hard work. Now, the island paradise has so much to offer that we've decided to highlight the top 5 places to visit in Hawaii. And when I say lei, I'm talking about the flower garland that they welcome you with when you arrive, saying, what did it say? Aloha.
Aloha, aloha. Well, we're going to start off with the Garden Isle of Kauai. It's a popular destination for tourists, but it's the Napali coast that's the real destination, and the coastline is with sheer cliffs covered in lush green vegetation and beautiful secluded sandy beaches. Now, the scenery is breathtaking, and it also looks familiar because the Napali coast is where the primary film location for Jurassic Park took place. Now, you can explore the magic of the film without the fear of dinosaur attacks, don't worry, but there are even a few cliffs where locals can show you how to safely jump into the water below.
Oh, it looks so beautiful. Now, the island of Oahu is another popular destination, and it's also home to the capital city of Honolulu. But Oahu is the North Shore, has fewer tourists if you want to escape the buzz, along with some of the most amazing beaches. Now, with its very laid-back vibe, the North Shore has some of the best winter waves in the world, so it's truly the best place to visit if you need to take just a little break.
Oh, I want a break just looking at these images. And the road to Hana is also one of Hawaii's most beautiful landscapes. But journeying to the east Maui of the Hana Highway, you'll get to hike to the Twin Falls, see the Garden of Eden, and explore Hawaii's flora and fauna. Visit Nahiku Marketplace for some delicious treats, and go to the Waianapa Napa State Park to see the black sand beach and experience the gorgeous coastline.
I love these names. They're so cool.
I hope we're pronouncing them correctly.
I think we're doing well. Now, at the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, you'll be able to observe billowing steam vents and volcanic lava fields. And of course, there's infernos, a 500-year-old cave, the Halema Uma'u's crater, and Kalawa'o's caldera from a safe distance at the Hawaii Volcanic Observatory. It really is a very unique experience to explore the Kalawa'o summit by driving around the caldera as well. So don't forget to pull over and take some short walks to the scenic points of interest, of course, and then you will see all that the island has to offer, and of course the ongoing eruptions that is always happening there. And it's best to check out for visitor alerts before planning your day trip to the national park as well, just to be on the safe side.
This is on my bucket list, to see lava.
You've wanted to see active lava like that.
Now, if you're a coffee lover, you won't want to miss out on the coffee farms that's in Kona, and there are you're able to go on tours similar to wine tasting adventures. Now, you can see the coffee farms and the mills and learn how the beans are processed, and you can also taste all the unique Hawaiian coffee flavors and experience the Kona scenery.
Yeah, well, there we have it. Those are the top 5 amazing destinations to visit if you're thinking of going to Hawaii, which is not the cheapest trip in the world, but definitely something worth happening or worth doing in your life. Well, it is that time of the week again. We can't not do this on a Tuesday. You've guessed it. We are traveling around the world with our regular guessing game. And if you're a travel or geography lover, then this one is definitely for you. So show us your travel smarts by guessing where in the world this week's mystery city is. You can share your guesses on Twitter and Facebook using that hashtag Expresso Show. So shall we begin?
Yes, I'll give you the first clue. Cool. Now, this morning we're looking for the name of a Nordic town in the southernmost of the Scandinavian nations, famous for its historic and cultural significance.
Exactly. Now, did you know that this town was founded in 1773 by the Moravian Church and was named after the then King of Denmark?
Now, did you also know that the gingerbread hearts have been a part of the town's rich history since the town was founded, and they were also once a time a very important commercial commodity for which the town was well known for both in the country and abroad.
And also the town is famous for the Cristianero, a conservation area which was laid out towards the end of the 18th century. Now, in the wooden park, a pavilion called My Thoughts is still preserved along the small ponds and a fountain, as well as a small wood with very special tree species surrounding it.
And very interestingly, the town itself was named as
as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1993, and that's for the old city core, which draws in thousands of tourists each year with its simple and impressive hall, special cemetery, and well-preserved architecture.
I don't know about you, but I seriously have the travel feels right now. Oh, I love
Travel
doing these
Tuesday.
things. Well, if you feel like you know the answer, you can head to social media, Facebook or Twitter, use that hashtag Expresso Show and let us know where in the world our mystery city is today.
Thank you so much, ladies, for providing us with those travel feels on your hashtag Travel Tuesday. We're going to be taking a very quick break. When we come back, we take a look at one of the coolest office spaces around. I'm talking about the Google South Africa headquarters in Johannesburg, and it is mind-blowing. And then also, we're going to sort you out in the kitchen with a delicious drink to enjoy over the cold winter months. Stick around for that and a whole lot more on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
My third or my fourth time judging the presenter search, and I absolutely love it. There's nothing more thrilling than going across
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Now, winter's just around the corner, and it's time to start ensuring that you're stocked up with cold and flu-fighting remedies. Now, when the temperature drops, all we want to do is have something warming and comforting. So we're looking at some of our best hot and good for you winter drinks, like this morning's Clover Fresh Milk Winter Remedy hot drink. And here to make it for us is our expert in the kitchen, Mr. Ewan Strelitz.
Oh, man, this is great, man. I enjoy, you know, especially with the busy lives that we lead nowadays. And you want to come home at the evening and you want to have something that's going to relax you,
100%.
all right? And this is exactly what this hot drink is going to do, especially with the addition of some cinnamon in there. Cinnamon is a great ingredient. Antiviral, antifungal properties as well, and also a great way to just help you switch off at night. And also great in the morning, cinnamon, by the way, to add to your breakfast. It helps balancing out the blood sugars, all right?
We're all about balance.
It's all about balance.
It's all about balance.
All right, cool. So I'm going to start with some Clover Fresh full cream milk.
All right.
You get your calcium, some proteins in there as well. Perfect for the night.
Wunderbar.
So that's going to go in there.
And the nice thing is you can make this for family and friends. It's not, you know, just for a once-off. You can definitely make it part of your regimen.
Right. So what I'm going to do, look at these beautiful cinnamon sticks.
Oh, wow,
all right?
lovely.
So that goes straight in there. And here we have some chamomile tea, all right?
Yes.
Also for its relaxing properties. We have a little bit of honey.
Some honey.
It's going to go in there.
Nice. It's coming together nicely. Did you know that clover milk has an extended life shelf of 18 days?
There we go, exactly.
I mean, it's so cost-effective and awesome. I love that.
Brilliant. You can keep it in the fridge. You can have fresh milk. Here we have some cardamom, all right?
Lovely.
And some fresh ginger root as well that we're going to throw in there. So basically, it's as easy as that. It's going to infuse. You leave it on there for a couple of minutes, all right? You give it a good stir around, all right? And then you leave it. And then when you're done, all right, you strain it, all right? Obviously, we want to take the tea bags out. You don't want to bite into a cardamom pod at all, you know? So here we have a strained mixture, and it is beautiful. And that is pretty much it. So it's still nice and hot.
Nice.
And you serve it in a beautiful glass.
And if you'd like this recipe this morning, all you have to do is SMS the keyword clover to 33728. We'll send you the link to the recipe and the ingredients list. It's very easy, by the way. And you could be making this delicious and health remedy, warm, comforting drink yourself. Oh, look at you,
It's a Wusa drink.
Thank you.
It's a Wusa drink. Listen, if you want to know how to make this one more time, if you missed any of these very easy steps, don't worry, we got your back. Here's a quick look at those steps again.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Nice.
With just a handful of ingredients, you can get a wholesome serving of cold and flu-fighting remedies in a Clover Fresh Milk Winter Remedy hot drink. For this recipe, you'll need 750 milliliters Clover Fresh Full Cream Milk, 2 tablespoons of honey, 2 cardamom pods, a 3 centimeter piece of fresh ginger, 2 cinnamon sticks, and 2 chamomile tea bags. Pour your Clover Fresh Milk into a medium heated saucepan. Next, add the chamomile tea bags, cinnamon sticks, sliced ginger, cardamom pods, and honey to your Clover Fresh milk. Stir and allow to infuse for 3 to 4 minutes. Then strain the milk mixture and pour into 2 serving glasses and serve warm. When the temperature drops, enjoy a warm winter drink made with love in the comfort of your home. Made with love by Clover. Yeah, and there you have it. So when the temperature drops, this is your go-to drink to just chill you out and heat you from the inside out.
Winter remedies. I love this. And they taste pretty good at the same time.
It's good, man. Chamomile, cinnamon, the addition of some honey in there, some great health properties. The keyword is Clover. SMS that to 33728.
Can I drink it now?
Of course. We just wanted to get a nice shot for you guys out of home as well.
Exactly.
Cheers and cheers.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA. Made with love by Clover.
Well, the deliciousness continues on Afternoon Express a little later today at 4:30 p.m. Don't miss the team as Chef Clem Pedro puts a twist on a decadent dessert, popcorn panna cotta. It is rich, silky smooth, and the perfect treat to get you through the week, and especially for today on Workers' Day.
Well, the plant kingdom is nature's own medicine chest. And next, Brett asks a top homeopath how remedies derived from plants and natural organic foods helps our bodies heal themselves and stay healthy.
Natural remedies have been around for centuries. It's fascinating to see that if we use a natural product in a different way, it can have benefits to our body. This morning, I'm going to meet Dr. David Nordier, who's going to tell us the benefits of using natural remedies.
With a vast knowledge on the subject, Dr. Nordier is a registered homeopath with a master's degree in homeopathy and heads up the medical and research department at SA Natural Products.
David, what inspired you to become a homeopath?
Well, fortunately, I was exposed to homeopathy as a young child. My grandmother was an avid user of homeopathic remedies, and she used to treat us when we were sick. And I think a combination of this early exposure and awareness of its effectiveness helped me to decide and choose homeopathic medicine when I realized I wanted to become a doctor. Well, a homeopath functions almost like a general medical practitioner. The only difference being a homeopath prescribes homeopathic medicines and does not perform surgical procedures.
What would you say are the benefits of using natural remedies?
Well, typically natural remedies aim to work at the root cause of disease as opposed to just managing the symptoms. And because of this, they don't force the body into doing anything, but rather work with the body. And this results in them being a lot more safe and side effect free.
Our gut contains tens of trillions of microorganisms, and global research is fast revealing just how essential these are to our overall health, well-being, and the prevention of disease.
We hear a lot of talk about good bacteria in our gut or intestines. How important is it for us to have good bacteria to make sure that we are healthy?
Essentially, we live in a relationship with these organisms, and when we're healthy, it's a mutually beneficial relationship. Now, the very sensitive and very complex ecosystem of bacteria that are found within our gut is called the gut microbiome. Science tells us that the gut microbiome is responsible for regulating our immune system and controlling various other functions like blood sugar and cholesterol. And one of the ways in which this happens is the manufacture of butyrates.
Yes, what exactly are butyrates and how do they work?
Butyrates are organic short-chain fatty acids, and they are manufactured by healthy bacteria that live in our guts. And when they ferment certain carbohydrates and starches, butyrates are formed. We can also manufacture butyrates from lactic acid-rich foods, typically your fermented foods.
And what are the benefits of butyrates in our bodies?
Butyrates help to maintain and support the colon defense barrier. Now, this is a selectively permeable membrane that allows certain things through from our food into our bloodstream and keeps other things out. If this doesn't function adequately, we have conditions that develop called leaky gut syndrome. There's a lot of other functions with butyrates, both within the gut and within the body as a whole. Within the gut, firstly, they protect us from diarrhea. The second most important thing is it regulates colon cell growth. Other functions include anti-inflammatory effects, protects us from bowel inflammation, helps to regulate bowel movements, and also can be effective as an intervention for irritable bowel syndrome.
How can we get enough of this in our diets to make sure that we're healthy?
So firstly, our diets need to be rich in fiber and complex carbohydrates. So that's obviously your fruits, your veggies. Secondly, we need to eat a diet that's rich in fermented foods. Kombucha, it includes sauerkraut, traditional mass, live culture yogurt. All of these are rich in lactic acid, which will be converted to butyrates, which is beneficial.
A convenient source of lactic acid is the Swiss digestive tonic Molkosan, derived from organic milk. Using Avogel's Molkosan daily can significantly increase butyrate levels in the gut, and as we've heard, our health can only benefit.
Knowing exactly how and why we put things into our bodies can make a massive difference to how we live our lives.
Digestive problems are increasing. Avogel's Molkosan is a Swiss daily digestive tonic that's high in L+ lactic acid to support healthy gut bacteria.
Look after your gut, South Africa. It's very important. When we come back after the break, we are back with a man, Declan Shalvey. Yes, he's a Marvel comic artist, and he is absolutely brilliant. We're going to pick his brain a little bit further, and then we're also going to focus on one of the coolest office spaces around. It's the Google SA headquarters in Johannesburg. There's definitely a space where you want to work. We'll bring you that after the break.
This is my third or my fourth time judging the presenter search, and I absolutely love it. There's nothing more thrilling than going across the country in search of some fresh, awesome talent. This year, I'm looking for something special. I want the kind of people to audition who are savvy, who are thinkers, who are ambitious, who really want to focus on this as a career, not just as an easy road to being famous. What's so interesting about the entertainment industry nowadays is that you might be a TV presenter for one particular show, but there's so many other different channels and platforms that you exist on as well. It all coexists online and, of course, on TV. So it's fascinating, actually, the way it's all growing so quickly. But things like social media are just as important to focus on as well. You need to be intelligent. You need to be astute. You need to be wide awake and have the energy to be able to handle any kind of environment. You really need something special. I'm looking for a little bit of magic.
Presenter Search on 3, proudly brought to you by Capitec and McCafe.
Welcome back. You're tuned into your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on SABC3. We are back with Declan Shalvey, a Marvel comic book artist, and he's just here. He was, of course, part of the FanCon 28 that took place here in Cape Town. Brilliant stuff, man. Thank you very much for joining us, Declan.
Oh, my pleasure.
We spoke about the fact that you have a dream job, a dream career. I think that a lot of people aspire to be as well. But let's quickly chat a bit about the superhero phenomenon. I mean, it's exploded over the past kind of 10 years with nearly every second Hollywood movie being made into a movie based on a comic book character or something like. What's your thoughts, I mean, in terms of the growth that you've seen?
I mean, I think it's amazing for, what certainly helps for me is as someone who draws material, you seem less sad. Because I drew Deadpool, and before the movie came out, I drew Venom. Wow. Now there's a movie coming out next year, so the stuff that I've worked on is now going to be... It's like when you're in a taxi cab and someone asks you what do you do, I would say I draw comics, and nobody would know what that is. Now everybody knows. Everybody knows what Marvel is.
Yeah.
Like the characters I liked when I was a kid was like the X-Men. They were super cool.
Absolutely.
But everyone, like the Avengers, to me were lame. But now... The Avengers are the big, like Captain America, Iron Man. I couldn't care less when I was a kid, but now they're the biggest characters. It's really, really crazy. The brand recognition has changed.
It's incredible how it's absolutely exploded, and of course the brand new Marvel film as well with the Avengers. I mean,
there's a new one. Nah, just...
No, come on, there's a new one. Yes, come on. We're all looking forward to that. But listen, I need to ask you this. Do you actually enjoy watching Marvel movies? I mean, how far removed is it for you in terms of an artist going from comic book and seeing the film adaptation as well? So,
I mean,
do you have a favorite? Do you favor
I do, yeah. Like Winter Soldier is my favorite, but I mean, it's because I really like. It's based on the storyline, the Winter Soldier storyline from the comics, which I love. But also, it's just a really good film. You know, I'm not so like I'm a fanboy, but I'm not so much of a fanboy. I like something just because it's comics. If it's not like I don't like all of the Marvel films, but there's a lot of them that I really, really do like. Yeah. It's hit and miss. They make so many, you know, and it's fine if you don't like some because others are really, really good.
Yeah. But in your opinion, what would you prefer? Reading a comic based on, well, of course, your knowledge and drawing the characters and looking at the storylines, or seeing them come to life on film? Where does your kind of
which do I prefer?
Lie?
Well, I mean, comics is my first love, but also I would much prefer, like, there's some superhero films that are very, very bad, no matter how much they're based on the material. I would just prefer good films. Yeah. Period. Okay. No matter what they aren't based on, you know.
So here's a question for you: if one of your comics could be turned into a Hollywood blockbuster, all right, which one would it be, and who would you like to play the hero roles?
The graphic novel series I illustrate with written by Werner called Injection has been optioned for a TV show.
Oh, fantastic.
So I find myself having done research to work on characters that I draw. Now I would have based them on actors originally in my head and worked from there. And now I'm thinking, who would play them? And I have no idea.
Wow.
It's really weird. If you mentioned like another comic, maybe I could come up with something, but because I have come up with it, I'm absolutely clueless.
Really?
Yeah, it's really stupid. But I know there's a lot of talk of Moon Knight being made into something. I keep hearing internet rumors. That's the series, but Warren and I worked on that for Marvel Comics, and he's like this crazy. He's called the Batman of the Marvel Universe, but he's way more weird and crazy than that. But I keep hearing rumors of like shows or film but I mean, I've no say. You know,
exactly.
The best I can ask for is just like the cool thing is when you see Netflix shows and whenever say Daredevil or Jessica Jones, you'll see thanks to, and they'll list the creators that a lot of the work is based on, which is really cool. So, you know, part of me is just like,
just
for that,
crossing fingers like that. Well, we're holding thumbs for you. I just quickly need to ask your advice, inspiration for young artists out there who maybe wants to follow in your footsteps. We have some great artists, local comic artists here in South Africa as well. Kwesi Flyboy, he's one of the guys that's doing their thing. What would you say to inspire those youth?
Well, I would say follow your local guys. Like I was spending time with Jason Masters and Sean Isaacs here. Sean's works for Marvel, so we had a lot in common because his first Marvel gig was the same as my first Marvel gig. Wow. So that was really cool. But I would say get involved in your local community because you don't just get work at Marvel like that. You need to build up and relationships and build your craft. Give yourself short projects that you can finish. A lot of new artists tend to try come up with the massive epics that you will never finish. So just keep it nice and short, and it helps you be more critical about your own work. But very much get involved, like meet local writers and local artists and colorists and letterers, and just work on your craft.
Awesome. Declan, thank you very much, my friend. Really appreciate you coming through, and have a safe trip home, my friend.
Oh, thanks very much.
That's a Declan Shalvey right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Now, we love what we do, and we spend most of our times at the office, so it's only fair, excuse me, to enjoy your surroundings. Now, this week, we take an office which sets the benchmark for the coolest places you could possibly hope to work for. It's the Joburg headquarters of a company whose name is synonymous with finding exactly what you're looking for.
Many of us spend a lot of time in our offices from Monday to Friday, and there's no doubt that having a cool, comfortable, friendly working environment increases productivity, and the Google SA offices are no exception to this. In fact, these offices take cool to a whole new level.
The thinking here is that this is such a stimulating space that even in your downtime, it's where you'd prefer to be. Overseeing communications and relationships with the public, Google South Africa's Mitch Atanga gets the value of what the space says about the company.
Now, Mitch, I must admit, from the outside, this looks like any other ordinary office block, but that's not the case. I realized that when I stepped in here. But what is it about Google that makes working here so pleasurable?
Well, I think, aside from being an incredible company that does really amazing things, I get to work with a lot of really amazing and diverse people, so a lot of different ideas from around the world, and that's really, really amazing. So I love that. That's one of my favorite things about working at Google.
And this area in itself looks very attractive. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so this is our reception area. So when people come into the office, this is the first impression of Google that they get, and this is the waiting area, so before whoever you're meeting comes to fetch you. And one of the things I think I quite love about it, aside from the fact that you can see what South Africans are searching for right there on the screen right now, but the wall itself is made of magazines, and all those magazines are South African titles.
So, Mitch, what makes this office space so unique to Google?
So aside from the fact that it's a green space, which means it's energy efficient, so our lights turn off when people are not around, and the air cons are efficient managed, and that's really important to Google. But more importantly, it's also a tribute to the city of Johannesburg. I call it a love letter to Jersey, right? So look here, you've got this big graffiti Google sign, which is painted by a real-life graffiti artist, and you've got the map pin that is exactly where we are right now. So if you put that in Google Maps, it'll bring you to this location. But when you go into the office, you'll see it looks at the iconic buildings, their street names on the side, and the meeting rooms are named after very interesting South Africanism. So for sure, Exe, Braji, so those kind of things. It's a real storytelling of Johannesburg and South Africa and the South African culture, but for international folk, it's a way for them to learn about the country and take more than just meetings and, you know, their jobs away with them, but also a piece of South Africa with them.
Local pride is a big emphasis, and Daniel Acton is all for his hometown.
Dan, how you doing, man?
How's it, man?
I'm very good.
Take a seat.
All right. I must admit, these are very interesting chairs, and I hear that there's a story behind them and this particular section of the building, actually. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Cool, yeah. So, I mean, we created this building and this wonderful, interesting design about 2 years ago when we moved in. And, you know, Google has this idea that we should exist in the city we're in. You know, we should put roots and we should really invoke the city we're in. So this, you know, this is supposed to be gold bars. They're not really gold bars. They're just painted like that. And the things we're sitting in, these seats, are supposed to be the mine carts that people would carry about. So, you know, we've named this as this pause area Igoli, you know, City of Gold, so that, you know, it refers back to Johannesburg. We have a lot of international visitors that come to our offices from other offices around the world, and it's a story we like to tell. That's our history. That's how Joburg started.
Luke McKent has a personal connection to this space.
Luke, the book nook is one of your favorite spaces in the building. Tell me why.
Well, books have always been a big part of my life. Despite the fact that I work for a technology company, I actually prefer the feel of a book compared to, you know, even a Kindle or anything more electronic. In fact, we spend so much time in front of a screen. I way prefer reading real physical pages. And in fact, when I was growing up, One of my favorite treats when we were living in Fishhoek was for my mother to drive me to Cape Town and to go and visit the second-hand bookshops that all populated along Long Street. Now there's lots of restaurants, all of those bookshops have unfortunately evaporated. So it's fantastic to have something in the office here that kind of reminds me of all of those youthful days browsing those bookshops.
Surroundings set the tone for a meeting of minds. Kerry Prisman knows that better than most.
Meeting rooms at Google are quite a commodity, and it becomes incredibly competitive when you're trying to book an urgent meeting. So Google really thought about this and created these cubicles that allow you to have that last-minute meeting or that urgent call with your client.
Choice and the chance to experience something new. That's the feel of this Delhi meets coffee shop meets designer bistro. But for Asha Patel, it is something unexpected which takes the cake.
For any mom that is returning to work, it's quite a daunting task getting back to the office. And that's made easier by this particular room, the mother's room that we're in right now. This room is fully equipped. It comes with everything that you could possibly need, from the feeding chair, the fridge, the equipment. And as you can see, each of these toys are quite unique and quite representative of the staff complement that work here.
What I really like a lot about this building is how they put a lot of effort in making sure that I feel included. And it feels very diverse, and it also feels very inclusive. And that's very important to me.
What a great place to hang out. That you get to work here too seems a bonus.
Offices are definitely not what they used to be before. Gone are the days of boring boardrooms and dull office furniture. As you've seen from the building behind me, it's all about creating a stimulating, inspiring working environment.
Ah, exciting times, eh? Imagine having an office like that. But then again, you did say ours was better. I mean, we get like free coffee.
Come on, we just had it like, put it down. We didn't ask for it. Princess, you're a legend. Just
Princess,
saying. Hi,
you
Princess.
are a legend. We love you. Time for us to talk movies. Now, our movie guru, JP Sebastian, has fallen ill. But we do know that it happens to coincide with the fact that Marvel's most anticipated superhero film, Avengers Infinity War, released this past weekend. So all I'm going to say is, JP, I see you.
No. We all know. We had this debate.
He
He was actually, it's malnourishment because he fails to dish out a lot of popcorn lately. So he didn't have enough to eat, you see. JP, we love you, dude.
But there are numerous box office hits that we simply cannot wait for. And we've got the preview of the ones that we're most excited to see now. I went to see this on Sunday night, Avengers Infinity War. The Marvel Universe has been building up to this cosmic bust-up for years. And it features a massive cast with literally all of our favorite Marvel superheroes, from Black Panther to Captain America, Thor's there, Iron Man, Black Widow, Star-Lord, even Spider-Man. The list continues. Now, it's hard to dodge the spoilers online, but what we do know for sure is that some of the biggest Marvel superheroes, wait for it, they die at the end of the movie.
Don't spoiler!
But we're not going to tell you who. We're going to leave it up to you to watch. So we'll give you another 48 hours, because when I come back here on Thursday, we're talking about it. I'm just saying, we're talking. It's racked up $258 million in America and $382 million internationally on its opening weekend, showing no signs of losing momentum. Now, this film is in cinemas right now, so get your tickets. Trust me, I'm going to watch it again.
Wow.
I don't watch movies less than 3 times.
Okay.
So,
you're adding to that global fund.
Yes, I'm here for that.
Well, listen, a movie a lot of people are also super excited to see releasing a little bit later in June is Ocean's 8 with an all-female cast. I know this one is no surprise. It's just got women representing.
I love
and
it.
while Danny Ocean, who's usually played by George Clooney, is not the star this time around, his sister Debbie, who's played by one of my favorites, Sandra Bullock, she has to find her own crew to pull off one of the coolest heists at the New York Met Gala. And that's for a necklace at worth 150 million rand. And in fact, not rand, dollars. $150 million. The cast has Kate Blanchett, Anne Hathaway, Helen Bonham Carter, Sarah Paulson, Mindy Kaling, as well as Riri makes an appearance. The Kardashians make an appearance. Anna Wintour appears. So it really has a cool cast, and it comes out with its global release the 8th of June.
I can't wait.
Hey?
I can't wait for this movie.
Girl power.
I love
Stunning.
that. That is very cool. And listen, another one that we need to focus on is called Games Night. All right, this is a lovely kind of action-packed, fun comedy. And there you can see them, Rachel McAdams and Jason Bateman. So basically, it's like this weekly game night. It gets kicked up a little notch. All right, when Max's brother arranges a murder mystery party that starts to become a little too real for comfort when they discover that the elaborate setup has kind of real and dangerous consequences. All right. Wow. So the friends then soon find themselves over their heads as each twist leads to another unexpected turn in real-life mystery. Oh, wow. It's really the perfect blend between comedy and thriller. But yeah, a game show that becomes almost reality. Come on, we got to do that. It grossed $108 million internationally, and it is currently showing at your movie houses. So yeah, go check it out.
Not as huge as mine, but
not as huge as yours. Look,
it's a player in the game.
You can't really compare anything to Marvel.
Amazing. You know, it's like it's over here.
You can't diss the movie that I've just spoken about. That's
Wow.
not fair.
Movie night has
How's that?
not been this good for a long time, and if you ask me, these films look like they will definitely get a decent popcorn rating. Mine being number one, Ewan's being...
What is this? What is this then? Like what? I can't. You like the new JP. That's horrible.
Do you want to take us to an ad break? Who's coming up
let's take
after
a
the
ad break. We're going to listen to Woman to Woman. They here going to just end this Tuesday on a good note. Stop it.
What am I looking for in a presenter? I think first things first, you need to be very comfortable in front of the camera. In fact, you need to eat that camera up. You need to look like you were born with that camera in your face. If you look like you're doing stuff for camera, then you're the wrong person for the job. I think being a presenter in 2018, whether it's radio or TV, is you need vast general knowledge. You need to be able to improvise at all times. You need to be able to do an interview with zero knowledge of your subject, for instance. Social media, I feel, is also very important because that's where people consume you when you're not in front of the camera, when you're not in front of the microphone. So I think those tools are very important. Being a brand ambassador is realizing that you don't belong to yourself anymore, that every move that you make is under a microscope, but also understanding whom you're talking to. Knowing your audience is very important. Why would you want this gig? I think, why not? Why would you not want to be in front of the camera? Why would you not want to be on this stage that's SABC3 in the first place? If TV is what you love, then this is the perfect place to start. It might be a bit of a deep end for some, but you know that's sometimes the best time to learn how to swim, when you're right in there. So join us, the stage is yours.
Presenter Search on 3, proudly brought to you by Capitec and McCafe.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. And news just in, by the way, Expresso is trending number 2 in Cape Town, so make some noise. Thank you, thank you. You're far too kind. Of course, we couldn't do it without you, so keep watching the show. We are so happy to have Woman to Woman on the show this morning, and we want to know from you, what did you think about their performance? And if you think you should join this group as a new vocalist, make sure you check out the audition details on their page as well. So there's another opportunity there. Sue Cray says, they're amazing, fun to listen to, especially that Twilight soundtrack. Those ladies are awesome. Jackie says that song is my favorite and they are killing it. Jasmine says, what a gorgeous, great music to my eyes this morning. Koponse says, that was an awesome performance. I love them. And here's the beautiful thing. It doesn't end there because guess what? Since we love you so much and because we're trending at number 2, here they are one more time.
Absolutely, here they are, the power trio that is woman to woman. Ladies, once again, thank you very much for spending time with us on your Feel Good Breakfast show this morning. Before your performance, we just quickly had a snippet there, what Leanne was telling us about. You guys are running a great competition at the moment for an understudy.
Yes, we are. And we will have it in Cape Town, in Mitchell's Plain, in Bellville, and in Paarl. And we just want to tell you guys the dates for that.
So the 5th of May, we will have it at the Collective Arts Theatre in Bellville. So
and on the 12th of May, it's at the Walter Frieden Recreation Centre in Rocklands, Mitchell's Plain.
And on the 19th is in Paarl at the Frank Peterson Music Centre.
And the finale will happen at the Arts Collective Theatre, the 2nd of June.
All right, but all of those details they can find on the social media pages and stuff like that, which is?
Instagram on all of our individual pages, and then Facebook, Woman to Woman, and Voove, Woman to Woman.
Right, perfect. Thank you very much. Let's end off this Tuesday on a good note. What are you performing for us right now?
We are doing Whitney Houston's I'm Every Woman.
Love it, love it. Inspire us. Here they are, Woman to Woman with I'm Every Woman.
Whatever you need, anything you want done, baby, I'll do it naturally, 'cause I'm every woman, every woman, it's all in me. It's all in me. Anything you want done, baby, I'll do it naturally. I'm every woman. It's all in me. I can read your thoughts right now. Everyone from A to Z. Makes a special brew, put fire inside of you. Anytime you feel danger or fear, then instantly I will appear. 'Cause I'm every woman, it's all in me. Anything you want done, baby, I'll do it naturally. Rain onto the seeds. I can make a rhyme of confusion in your mind. And when it comes down to some good old-fashioned love, I've got it, I've got it, I've got it, baby. I'm every woman, it's all in me. Anything you want done, baby, I'll do it naturally. I ain't bragging,
Well done. Thank you, ladies. That was brilliant. That was a powerful Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, guys. That was fun.
And the nice thing is we get to do it again tomorrow. Guys, we are catching up with TIOT 8 second place guys, Rudy and Namaps. They're going to be in studio tomorrow.
Fantastic. It's going to be a great show. Be sure not to miss it. Go out there and have a brilliant day. If you're taking off, just make sure that you chill. We'll be back tomorrow. Cheers.
See you.
Bye.
Expresso Morning Show, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.